Chen Xiang didn't know much about Xiao Chang'e, but this guy knew a lot of things about him. The matter of him killing the purple-robed man in the cave must have been found out by Xiao Chang'e. Chen Xiang didn't know much about Xiao Chang'e, but this guy knew a lot of things about him. The matter of him killing the purple-robed man in the cave must have been found out by Xiao Chang'e. Don't worry, I didn't see what you did in the cave. Xiao Chang'e patted Chen Xiang's shoulder. Chen Xiang nodded, then cupped his fists. Thank you, senior, for understanding, farewell. Chen Xiang immediately ran. Xiao Chang'e said that he was from Six Realms Divine Palace, and the killing array that he had set up with the Six Realms mirrors in the cave was probably seen by Xiao Chang'e, so he must have already known that had Six Realms mirrors, thus he ran so fast. He was worried that Xiao Chang'e might want to see his Six Realms mirrors. Chen Xiang continuously teleported, only stopping to rest after walking out of the great mountain, and arriving at a piece of prairie did not stop until he had dashed madly for 2 consecutive days. Do you have a clue? Just what kind of background does this guy have? It's too scary. Even when facing strong people like Yi Bidong, I don't feel this kind of pressure. Chen Xiang exhaled, then released Little Lightning. Riding on Little Lightning's back, he returned to Supreme Divine Palace. Yue said, I have never heard of his name, but I can roughly guess his strength. He should be someone who has reached the pinnacle of the Supreme God realm, and is only a little bit away from Serpa's Sing the realm of the Supreme God. He should be a Supreme God who possesses 19 divine deity. Chen Xiang exclaimed, No wonder it's so scary. Is there such a powerful being in the Supreme Divine Palace? Yue crawled out from her backpack and ran into Chen Xiang's embrace, saying, Yes, Supreme Divine Palace's palace master should have that kind of strength. Chen Xiang had never seen the hall master of the Supreme Divine Palace before. He had only heard that this hall master rarely appeared. Unless something big happened, he would never come out to settle things, even if it was the large compet. 1 Tian. Doesn't that mean that this Xiao Chang'e possesses the same terrifying power as the Supreme Divine Palace's Hall Master? Does that mean that there are a lot of these fellows in the Six Realms Divine Palace? Said in surprise. Said that he was from the Divine Wind Valley and joined the Six Realms Divine Palace later on. In the past, Six Realms Divine Palace was very powerful, especially during the time of the Six Daos Divine Monarchs. However, after the disappearance of the Six Daos Divine Monarchs, the Six Realms Divine Palace also declined. Everything Yue knew, she knew from the higher-ups in the Beast Divine Palace. She had position in the Star Moon Divine Race, so she knew a lot of things. Chen Xiang returned to the Supreme Divine Palace. He did not expect that it would take him so long to walk out of the depths of the treasure grounds. Returning back to the 10th Dan Hall, Chen Xiang saw Shui Bingyan and Feng Yujie organizing some medicinal herbs in the courtyard outside. Seeing Chen Xiang and Yue return, Shui Bingyan walked over happily. Elder brother Shen, Yue, how do you do? Yue really liked Shui Bingyan. She flew out from her backpack and threw herself into Shui Bingyan's embrace, playing with him with her cute little paws. Has Bingyan adapted yet? Chen Xiang sat down and helped Feng Yujie get those dried-up miracle medicines. He did not know what they looked like. Feng Yujie chuckled. Your worries and mine are superfluous. Although this girl is simple, she is not easy to deceive. She has a very strong sense of perception and is very sensitive to whoever has ill intents towards her. She doesn't need to adapt to our human environment. Chen Xiang looked at Shui Bingyan's innocent and brilliant smile and sighed. I hope our human environment isn't so treacherous to her heart. What are these? Asked. There were many divine medicines, and all of them looked like gray fruits, but the roots of the fruits were intertwined together. The divine aura fruit and the void primordial spirit fruit, the main 2 kinds of Zhongping medicine in refining the divine concealment pellet, are intertwined together. Now we need to separate them one by one. Feng Yujie said, Did you get anything from going to the divine medicine trove? My harvest is not bad. How did you get these medicinal ingredients? Did you buy them? Chen Xiang asked. I don't know why that guy called Xiao gave it to me, but for some reason, he gave it to me without taking my Xin Yuan stone. Seeing Chen Xiang's smile, Feng Yujie knew that it had something to do with Chen Xiang, and quickly asked, What exactly is going on? Chen Xiang chuckled. I saved this guy, moreover, he can be considered to be someone I know. He is 9 Heaven World. Feng Yujie opened her mouth in shock and exclaimed, So it's Evil Emperor, how did he become like this? I can't even recognize him, no wonder the qi on his body gave me a familiar feeling. You've met him. Chen Xiang didn't think that Feng Yujie would enter the Evil Emperor and see her. What was strange was that she didn't recognize him. Of course I've added him. However, at that time, he was completely different from how he is now. He was basically 2 different people. He had also seen me before. Merely, at that time, I had used a different appearance. Feng Yujie said. Chen Xiang took out that blue-colored flower. When he met Xiao in the Divine Medicinal Treasures grounds, it was precisely because of these blue-colored flowers that he simply told Feng Yujie about the past. Feng Yujie spun the blue flower and said with a frown, I don't know what kind of flower this is, but from your description, it seems like the effects are not ordinary. I even suspect whether it is a Zhongping medicine. I just ate a petal, and the effects are already very scary. Chen Xiang said. Right now, the blue flower in Feng Yujie's hand was missing a petal. Suddenly, a voice came from the direction of the small yard. This is the dead profound evil flower. You can still live after eating a petal, this is your fate. If you don't know how to handle it, a hole will be blasted in your stomach. This was the voice of Hall Master Luo Tianjun. He had already come out of seclusion. He walked out of the room, and instantly arrived beside the table, taking the death-profound evil flower from Feng Yujie's hands. After Yue heard this, she immediately flew over and said in shock, This is the legendary death-profound evil flower that could let the supreme G.O.D. pierce through the heart easily. Hearing Yue's description, Chen Xiang's heart suddenly had a lingering fear. He was glad he only ate a petal back then, otherwise he definitely wouldn't be able to sit here so comfortably right now. Luo Tianjun glanced at Yue. Even though he was in closed-door training, he knew a little about what was happening outside. When Yue and Shui Bingyan came in a while ago, he immediately found out. Yue was, after all, a star and crescent beast, so it was very easy to see through her. This is only a medial grade death mysterious black evil flower. If it were a superior grade flower, then this little demon's reputation would probably grow back. Luo Tianjun returned the flower to Chen Xiang and then warned her sternly, You can't eat it anymore. This flower is an evil medicine that can kill people. Chen Xiang immediately nodded his head, but he was ecstatic in his heart. If he refined the pill, the power would definitely be great. The stone on the mountain where Long Xue's remnant soul was previously on also had a terrifying power. He had not refined it yet. Hall Master, have you heard of Xiao Chang'e? Chen Xiang suddenly asked. Upon hearing his question, both Feng Yujie and Luo Tianjun's face changed. They actually knew who Xiao Chang'e was. Luo Tianjun let out a long sigh. No wonder this kind of flower would appear in such a precious land of divine medicine. It was planted by this guy. He's still the same as always liked to plant this kind of thing. Luo Tianjun let out a long sigh. No wonder this kind of flower would appear in such a precious land of divine medicine. It was planted by this guy. He's still the same as always liked to plant this kind of thing. Chen Xiang was startled. Xiao Chang'e truly loved flowers, and this kind of terrifying, death-profound evil flower was actually planted by him. Luo Tianjun looked at Feng Yujie. Girl, do you recognize this guy as well? Feng Yujie nodded. I'm young. We were quite familiar with him when we were young. I didn't expect him to be here. At that time, the 9 divine kings was extremely prestigious, and since Xiao Chang'e was able to recognize Feng Yujie, it meant that Xiao Chang'e had a pretty good status at that time. Hall Master, he said that he is from the 6 Realms Divine Palace. What is his position in the 6 Realms Divine Palace? Chen Xiang asked. This Xiao Chang'e knew some of his secrets. He had to figure out Xiao Chang'e's ident. 1. Tai now. He is the Hall Master of the 6 Realms Divine Palace. Although this guy is from the 6 Realms Divine Palace, he is also an alchemist, and strictly speaking, he can be considered my martial uncle. No one knows his ident. 1 Tai in the 6 Realms Divine Palace. Only a few elders and hall masters of the Supreme Divine Palace know about him. Luo Tianjuan's words caused Chen Xiang and Yuer to be extremely shocked. They never thought that Xiao Chang'e was actually the hall master of the 6 Realms Divine Palace. Feng Yujie frowned. He was originally from the Divine Wind Valley. Why did he run to 6 Realms Divine Palace? Luo Tianjun said, he controls the wind laws. Later on, because the Divine Wind Valley and the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain jointly did something that would harm the disciples of both sides, at that time, Divine Wind Valley and the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain both sent a portion of their disciples away. That was when he entered the 6 Realms Divine Palace. Chen Xiang suddenly thought back to when Xiao Chang'e asked him about the G.O.D. murdering sword technique. Obviously, Xiao Chang'e already knew that he had fused with the divine deity of the 6 Daos divine monarchs, and even knew that he had the 6 realms mirrors, but he did not say anything. How is he? Chen Xiang asked. Not bad, just that she likes to dress up more than women and flowers more than women. The rest are still quite good. Luo Tianjun laughed mischievously. You should have seen him in the precious land of divine medicine. Chen Xiang nodded his head. It was indeed just as Luo Tianjun had said. Hall Master, he said that he will be coming to the Supreme Divine Palace soon. What is he doing here? Chen Xiang asked. He should be the one who brought the disciples of the 6 Realms Divine Palace to join in the fun. Our Hall Master should have made an agreement with him that the compet. 1. Tai this time will possibly compare to the other forces. When the time comes, the 3 great halls will be gathered together and other forces like the Divine Wind Valley and the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain will also come. Luo Tianjun said, it will be more lively later on. That's what Hall Master told me before. That's why I went into seclusion, because when the time comes we old bones will have to go up on stage and regain some face. Camel! Someone suddenly shouted from outside the door. His voice was like thunder. Hearing the voice, Chen Xiang knew who it was. It was the chief hall master of the Soul Hall, Zhu Xiangyuan. Chen Xiang helped him find the Dao Heart Stone, but half of the compensation he gave Chen Xiang had not been paid off, which was equivalent to giving him a decent set of divine soul. The reason he's here now should be to send us off with his divine soul. The moment Zhu Xiangyuan came in and saw Chen Xiang, without saying a word, he threw a pearl over to Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang took the pearl, and felt that it was very scalding to the hand. This is a fire attribute divine soul. I've already finished refining it so it's very easy for you to fuse it. Zhu Xiangyuan smiled and said, be careful when fusing with them. This fire attribute divine soul is extremely overbearing. Don't get burned. Luo Tianjun thought it was strange. He had only closed himself off for a few months, yet Zhu Xiangyuan had already gifted him with divine soul. It had to be known that even old bones like them would find it difficult to obtain such a high-quality divine soul from Zhu Xiangyuan. What's going on? Luo Tianjun felt that it was strange, so he looked at Zhu Xiangyuan and asked. He helped me find the Dao Heart Stone. Just as Zhu Xiangyuan finished speaking, he realized that he had leaked his mouth, because he had promised Chen Xiang not to tell him about this matter. Hearing that, Luo Tianjuan's eyes immediately became round. He glared at Chen Xiang and then left. It seemed like he went to Supreme Hall to look for the old man. Zhu Xiangyuan chuckled at Chen Xiang. Don't worry, I won't let your hall master cause any trouble, I'll go watch him right now. Zhu Xiangyuan left as well as he let out a helpless sigh. Yue continued to play with Shui Bingyan. They were both chasing after him and playing around. When Chen Xiang and the others were talking earlier, Shui Bingyan also sat obediently by the side and listened quietly. Sister Feng, how did you know that Xiao Changle? Chen Xiang asked. If he sees you now, would he still recognize you? Feng Yujie laughed. Of course I recognize him. Back then, 9 divine kings had set his eyes on this guy, so he was doing quite well in Divine Wind Valley. The G.O.D. king had often given him pointers, so when I was young, I often cultivated with him. Let's not talk about this anymore. I even found this in the Divine Medicine Land. Chen Xiang took out the Tianhai flower and laughed. Is this a Tianhai flower? When Feng Yujie saw it, she cried out in surprise. It's the Tianhai flower. This is great. This is a divine medicine that is difficult to find in order to refine the divine sense. See pellet. Chen Xiang said, seems like I'm not mistaken. Feng Yujie carefully stored it away. This was a very precious thing to her. Brat, I have already improved the regeneration Dan. Feng Yujie also had some good news to tell Chen Xiang. Seeing her pleased smile, Chen Xiang couldn't help but reach out and caress her face. How did it go? Chen Xiang knew that Feng Yujie was using this to vent his anger towards the young alchemist that had refined the regeneration Dan. Although regeneration Dans can regenerate their flesh and bones, their speed is very slow and they aren't very effective against GODs, who have relatively stronger flesh and bones. Feng Yujie said, but the jade-back divine pellet that I refined could regenerate bones and flesh quickly. If my body was just a bit weaker, I could complete it in an instant, and it would be much better than the regeneration Dan by many times. Feng Yujie faintly sighed. The only thing that is lacking is that this kind of pill is slightly more difficult to refine, and we need to add another Zhongping medicine. Although the effects are very good, the price would definitely be very high, if not it would be difficult to reverse the price. Chen Xiang looked at the divine soul in his hands and said, I have a way, that fellow's regeneration Dans are not endless, I think that he already has some in stock, and he is only selling them to a few people. If we can quickly copy the regeneration Dan's medicinal ingredients and quickly refine them, then we can definitely compete with him. I know that as well, but how do we solve this problem? Replicating the medicinal ingredients is not a difficult task. What's more difficult is to quickly refine the ingredients. After all, this is a Zhongping Dan. It requires a batch of Shangping Holy Dan to concoct. This gave Feng Yujie a headache. The reason why Chen Xiang did not start refining Zhongping Dan was because he was looking for a solution to the problem that caused all the pill GODs to feel a headache. It was that all the Zhongping Dan needed to add a lot of Shangping Holy Dan as support when they were refining. The reason why Chen Xiang did not start refining Zhongping Dan was because he was looking for a solution to the problem that caused all the pill GODs to feel a headache. It was that all the Zhongping Dan needed to add a lot of Shangping Holy Dan as support when they were refining. The majority of Zhongping Dan's pill formulas were like that, while the supporting Shangping Holy Dan only had a stable effect. Its medicinal strength would not be merged into the divine pellet, which also meant that even if the Shangping Holy Dan did not refine it, the quality of the divine pellet would not change. However, without Shangping Holy Dan, it would be hard to maintain stability in the furnace. This was mainly because when the Zhongping medicine was being burnt, it needed to consume some energy in order to be docile and not be irritable. Therefore, when they were in the ancient times, the pill GOD had thought of this method. When refining Zhongping Dan, they would add in Shangping Holy Dan and let the Zhongping medicine melt to the Zhongping medicine to swallow. I'll go into seclusion for a few days to see if I can succeed. Chen Xiang said, Give me 2 sets of regeneration Dan's medicinal ingredients. Feng Yujie handed over the ingredients to Chen Xiang. His face was slightly flushed, and he said, "There aren't many spirit pearls left, we need to take some time to get more." Chen Xiang laughed sinisterly, and quickly entered the ENT. He did not start to refine pills, but took out the divine soul that Zhu Xiangyuan had just delivered. He was still an inferior divine God. He only had 2 divine souls. Chen Xiang's first life ability was that the Chuangzhao fire would be of great help to him in refining pills, and his second life ability was the celestial phenomenon art. This was what he got from cultivating the heavenly spirit Kunfu. It allowed him to have a strong defense. And after that, he would cultivate the third divine soul and condense the third divine deity. At that time, he would also have the third life ability. Right now, he was training in the heavenly alchemy. He planned to use the heavenly alchemy to cultivate the third and third divine deity, which would affect his third life and abilities. It's exactly because Xiao Chou has this kind of thing that he can advance by leaps and bounds. I will fuse with this divine soul first, and when the time comes I will cultivate the third divine deity, and then I will become a God. When Chen Xiang thought about the 10 divine deities that were required to become the supreme God, he felt that he still had a long way to go, so he had to speed up a little. The divine soul that Zhu Xiangyuan had refined was placed inside the divine sense and had actually easily fused with him. Now, he only needed to cultivate a little, to make himself more compatible with the divine soul, and after that, he only needed a long time of seclusion to condense the third divine deity. Regeneration Dan. Chen Xiang took out a portion of Regeneration Dan's medicinal ingredient. This was only medicinal ingredients, there were no Shangpin Holy Dans. Feng Yujie had told him before that even if he used the heavenly alchemy, if he did not join the Shangpin Holy Dans inside, it would be very difficult to maintain the stability of the pill furnace. Feng Yujie had taught her the heavenly alchemy, so she definitely did not have as much understanding towards it as Chen Xiang, so when she was refining pills, more or less, she still had the method to refine pills from before. That was why she did not understand and change the way she used the heavenly alchemy, and it would take a long time to comprehend and change the way Chen Xiang did. Feng Yujie had already told Chen Xiang the timing of the appearance of these few spirit bloods. Therefore, Chen Xiang did not need to test them a little. He could directly burn these few Zhongpin medicine to a certain degree. It appeared. Sister Feng, you seem to know a lot about the Regeneration Dan's divine medicine. When Chen Xiang saw the spirit blood inside the few divine medicines, he immediately captured all of them and then merged them all together. It seemed like it would succeed, but in the instant the fusion occurred, the things that Chen Xiang expected did not happen. Instead, they were all separated. This is bad. Chen Xiang immediately opened the lid on the pill furnace, releasing a few more berserk medicine aura from the furnace bit by bit. Zhongpin medicine are really different. They could have fused together, but why are spirit blood suddenly rejecting each other and even breaking apart? Chen Xiang sank into deep thought. He had never encountered such a situation before. He had used the original source refining, so spirit blood were extremely important to him. If the spirit blood were to shatter, it meant that he would fail. Feng Yujie had said before that if the Shangpin Holy Dans had smelted and added in the energy after the holy pellet was refined, it would allow the Zhongpin medicine S to swallow the energy, allowing them to integrate with the spirit blood S bit by bit smoothly. During this process, he would also need to continuously refine a large number of Shangpin Holy Dans, and also have to evenly distribute the energy that the holy pellet produced. If Chen Xiang wanted to solve this problem, he had to first understand why Zhongpin medicine would reject each other and even self-destruct when they fused with each other. He only had one portion of Regeneration Dan's medicinal ingredients in his hands, while Feng Yujie only had one portion of medicinal ingredients to duplicate. He took a deep breath and placed the divine medicines on top of a jade plate. Then, he used his spiritual eye to carefully observe them. Thus, he continued to read. It took him 3 whole days before he had a clue. It should be like this. These Zhongping medicine have all developed a stronger spirit, and they also have gathered a bit of energy inside the divine medicine. It's similar to divine deity and things like that. If the energy within the few divine medicines was too different, they would not be able to fuse together and the spirit blood would also reject each other. And when I forcefully gathered the spirit blood together, it would cause it to shatter. Chen Xiang frowned as he thought about it. There is a huge difference in the energy hidden within the Zhongping medicine, and the strength of the energy depends on the strength of the spirit blood. If I were to forcefully merge them together, it would cause the weak spirit blood to explode. That's why it happened before. This was just like him using an egg to touch a rock. The difference between the two was too great, so they couldn't fuse together. As for the Zhongping Holy Dan, it would have the effect of protecting the weak divine medicine with an energy Hi plus ELD. Once the weak divine medicine had reached a certain level of balance, it would fuse together without causing a weak explosion, and after successful fusion, it would then disperse the energy that the Zhongping Holy Dan had turned into. If I use the original source refining, I can only start from the original spirit blood. As long as we strengthen the spirit blood, it won't explode when we fuse with it. Chen Xiang had already found a way to solve it, but he still hadn't found the way to use the strong spirit blood. There should be something inside the heavenly alchemy. When I first comprehended the original source refining, I saw something related to it, but I didn't pay it much attention at that time. When Chen Xiang thought of this, he couldn't help but exclaim in his heart about how profound the heavenly alchemy was. It took Chen Xiang a few days to understand the method of the strong spirit blood from the heavenly alchemy. It took Chen Xiang a few days to understand the method of the strong spirit blood from the heavenly alchemy. Looks like it uses up a lot of divine sense C's power. I wonder what effect the 6 realms power of my divine sense C will have if I use it on it. What was expended was the power within the divine sense C. Because Chen Xiang cultivated the 6 realms magic kungfu, all he had right now were 6 streams of Go delay power. And what the mysterious power could do, the 6 realms power could too. After finding the method, Chen Xiang started refining the Regeneration Dan. He first burnt the few types of divine medicines to a certain degree, then used his spirit essence to see the spirit blood and used the strengthening technique that he had just comprehended. Before using this method, he had to first figure out which divine medicines were too weak, and then strengthen the spirit blood of these divine medicines. All he had to do was balance these spirit blood. The only thing he needed to do was to use a powerful spirit technique, and the 6 realms power in his body would quickly rush out of the divine sense C, turning into a light green glow and flowing out of his palms. It would enter the pill furnace through the fire entrance of the pill furnace, and then wrap around the divine medicine and permeate into the divine medicine little by little, strengthening those weak spirit blood. At this time, Chen Xiang also used his spirit eyes, and carefully observed the spirit blood. When the spirit blood was weak, its color would slightly change, and as it grew stronger, its color would also deepen, so it was very easy to see. As long as the color depth of the divine medicines were similar, they could begin to fuse together. This kind of situation wouldn't happen to low-quality divine medicines. Although low-quality divine medicine spirit blood would also have a large difference in strength, but because the energy contained within the divine medicine wasn't enough to detonate, it could be forcefully merged. On the other hand, the middle grade and above divine medicines were different. The powerful energy concealed within would explode if the spirit blood was not stable at all. It's about time. Chen Xiang never thought that he would have to spend 3 days to get the color of the spirit blood to be identical, and that he would have to use up a lot of 6 realms power S. It's because I'm not familiar with this technique that I have to use it bit by bit. Therefore, if I'm familiar with it after such a long period of time, the time I need can be shortened by a lot. It's not a problem for me to produce a pill quickly. Chen Xiang used his divine sense to form a hand, grabbing the spirit blood inside the ball of medicine aura and fusing them together. At this moment, Chen Xiang's heart was thumping hard. He was nervous. If he failed, he would have to find a new method. However, if he succeeded, it would be much easier and faster to refine Zhongping Dan than other alchemists. He did not even need to refine a large number of Shangping Holy Dan. This was something that made him very excited. When the few spirit blood fused together, Chen Xiang's forehead could not help but exude a large amount of sweat. When he saw the spirit blood fuse into a ball, he let out a long sigh. Done! Chen Xiang was overjoyed and heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, the medicine aura S and medicinal powders had all fused together into a very dense ball of air. As expected of Zhongping medicine, if we combine several of them together, we can produce such a dense amount of medicine aura. Seems like we can condense quite a few pills. Chen Xiang was extremely happy in his heart. If you use the holy pellet as support after the fusion is done, you have to release the holy pellet's energy. When the energy is released, a large portion of the medicine aura will be lost, so the amount of medicine aura that leave the pellet is very small. Chen Xiang had understood it before. The young pill G.O.D. who made Supreme Divine Palace only had 2 pills, but he was still not sure how many pills Feng Yujie could make out of these pills. He still had to continue burning these medicine aura S to make them pure. According to this method, if you can only condense an ordinary pill, you should be able to condense at least 5 pills. Chen Xiang was even more excited. The more he could condense, the better. This way, he wouldn't feel like he was losing out even if he sold them at a low price. Now that he had solved the problem, he did not need to add Shangping Holy Dan S to refine the pill. This could reduce a lot of costs and the amount of energy needed to refine the pill, at the same time increasing the number of pills. After Chen Xiang refined that large lump of medicine aura to a very pure state, he was somewhat agitated in his heart. 7 pills. It should not be a problem. He rewarded this group of medicine aura with 7 points, and then carried on with the process of condensing the pellet. After a short while, Chen Xiang succeeded in condensing the pellet. He opened the furnace and saw that there were 7 light yellow regeneration Dan S inside. Great, as long as I copy a little more, I can quickly refine a large amount. Chen Xiang wiped his sweat and hurriedly walked out of the BAS. ENT with the 7 regeneration Dan. When they arrived at the top, Feng Yujie was currently sleeping on the same bed as Shui Bingyan, while Yuer was sprawled on the ground next to Shui Bingyan. Shui Bingyan slept soundly and looked good in her sleep. Feng Yujie, who was at the side, woke up early, and when she heard the door to the BAS. ENT opened, her eyes shone open. She had been waiting for Chen Xiang's good news. Do you want to kiss her? Feng Yujie laughed. I don't dare, she's strong. Chen Xiang curled his lips. Feng Yujie had already walked down from the bed and arrived beside a table. Chen Xiang laughed. Look! Feng Yujie saw that Chen Xiang had opened a jade box and there were 7 regeneration Dan inside. She almost shouted out happily, but she was worried that she would disturb Shui Bingyan, so she restrained herself. How did you refine it? Without using Shangping Holy Dan S, you can use 2 portions of regeneration Dan S medicinal ingredients to refine 7 pellets. Feng Yujie placed the regeneration Dan on his palm and carefully examined them. They are even of high quality. Chen Xiang chuckled. My first furnace was a failure. These 7 pills you saw were all refined in the same furnace. Impossible! Feng Yujie shouted lightly. She had refined Regeneration Dan many times, she knew Regeneration Dan well enough, she felt that her 4 pellets were already the limit, and she had to use her best to be able to condense 4. Chen Xiang laughed but did not speak. He took a close look at these Regeneration Dan and discovered that they were all hot. The temperature was about the same. But she still quickly shook her head. She could not accept this kind of thing that she felt was impossible. Sister Feng, you can do it too. I'll teach you tomorrow. I'm a bit tired now, so I'll go take a bath first. Chen Xiang walked into the bathroom and quietly washed off the perspiration on his body. Then, he sat on a chair and crossed his legs to rest. Feng Yujie also leaned over, laid in Chen Xiang's embrace, and gently caressed his cheeks as she gently said, "I'll accompany you." Chen Xiang kissed her red lips and laughed. Then, he hugged her and went to the other bed, where they slept in each other's embrace. Feng Yujie, who was hugging Chen Xiang, fell asleep beauty, with a sweet smile on her face. Feng Yujie, who was hugging Chen Xiang, fell asleep beauty, with a sweet smile on her face. In the morning, Chen Xiang heard Yuer meowing. Both he and Feng Yujie woke up because of this, and even though the sky wasn't completely bright yet, a light blue light floated in the room. These rays of light were emitted from Shui Bingyan's body. At this moment, Chen Xiang, Feng Yujie and Yuer had all woken up. She seems to be on the verge of a breakthrough. In this period of time, she did not train much. Yuer was extremely shocked as she flew to Feng Yujie and his bed. Feng Yujie said, "In the past, when she slept with me at night, she also had this kind of sleeping experience. At that time, I asked her, she herself did not know what was going on." Chen Xiang and the others watched on from the side. After daybreak, Shui Bingyan's body stopped emitting the blue-colored light. She had also woken up at this moment. When Shui Bingyan woke up, he saw Chen Xiang and the others were looking at her. At this moment, her clothes were all drenched, obviously because of the blue light that was emitted by her a moment ago. "Good morning, everyone." Shui Bingyan smiled sweetly at Chen Xiang and the others and quickly took off the clothes on his body, not caring about what Chen Xiang felt at all. This beautiful snow-white body caused Chen Xiang to stare blankly, but his eyes were quickly covered up by Feng Yujie's jade hands. Shui Bingyan changed into a purple skirt. Feng Yujie immediately walked over to help her tidy up her clothes and reminded her, "Bingyan, in the future, when there's a man around, you can't take off your clothes as you please. I remember telling you this before. But elder brother Shun is not an outsider. He even taught me to wear clothes. He gave me all of my clothes." Shui Bingyan looked at Chen Xiang and simply smiled at him, causing Chen Xiang to be unable to control himself. This Shui Bingyan was really so innocent and adorable. He liked her a lot. "Bingyan, when you were sleeping, your body was emitting blue light and you even wet your clothes. What's going on?" Chen Xiang asked. "When you slept just now, did you feel anything?" Shui Bingyan looked at Feng Yujie, and because Feng Yujie had asked her about this before, she shook her head. "I don't know, I just felt that I was a little hot sleeping just now, and then my body started to sweat." Shui Bingyan himself didn't know what was going on, so he and the others definitely wouldn't be able to get anything out of him either. Chen Xiang wanted to teach Feng Yujie how to refine Regeneration Dan, but before that, he and Feng Yujie would have to dual cultivate with a live slain method and condense some spirit orbs so that they could replicate the Regeneration Dan ingredient. Yuer and Feng Yujie were playing around in the courtyard. Because she was worried that Shui Bingyan would cause trouble, Feng Yujie did not allow her to walk out of the courtyard. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie were at the bottom of the secret room. When they were dual cultivating with the alive slain method, Chen Xiang had also said down the spirit strengthening technique to Feng Yujie through the divine soul. Other than that, Feng Yujie could also clearly remember Chen Xiang using the spirit strengthening technique to refine pills. "I know how to refine it. Brat, you're so amazing. You actually managed to comprehend this method." Feng Yujie was extremely happy and kissed Chen Xiang on the mouth. Go out and look at Bingyan. I always let her and me stay in the secret room in the past, you should also accompany her to play. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie kissed for a moment, then walked out of the secret room. When they arrived outside, it was already evening. Shui Bingyan and Yuer sat on the rooftop, watching the distant setting sun. Shui Bingyan was still holding on to a sweet fruit in her hands, which she had already bitten a few times. Chen Xiang lightly jumped on top and came to Shui Bingyan's side, laughing. Who gave you this fruit? It looks very delicious. Shui Bingyan said the fruit over. Elder brother Shen, eat. It's better if you eat it. I've eaten too much of this fruit. Then, she took out the divine fruit that Huang Jintian had given her. This divine fruit could produce an extremely fragrant fruit juice, and a small piece of the fruit could be cut out from it. Shui Bingyan took a sip and praised it repeatedly. She was worried that she wouldn't be able to drink anymore, so she took a small sip. Bingyan, will you miss the place you were born in? Shui Bingyan asked. Shui Bingyan was a Tao spirit, but she was no different from ordinary people. She could be considered a natural-born life form, and was very strong. I don't want to go back. It's so boring inside. No one told me anything interesting. I also don't have you heir to play with me. Shui Bingyan shook his head. I don't want to go back. Chen Xiang laughed. Then I won't go back, wait till I bring you to an even more interesting place to do even more interesting things. Shui Bingyan nodded with antic. 1p Asian. As they sat on the roof, they could see that the Three Gu brothers was coming back to them in a loud voice. When Three Gu brothers opened the door, he saw Chen Xiang and Shui Bingyan on top of the roof watching the sunset. Brat, where's little junior sister? The price of the regeneration Dan has risen, and now, it is selling for 1,500,000, which is over 1,000,000 more than before. Oldest Gu shouted. Previously, because someone wanted to go against Feng Yujie, Chen Xiang had flaunted himself and sold the income tax that was originally worth millions of Xin Yuan stone, but now it had suddenly increased to 1,500,000. Chen Xiang was very surprised. Why did it suddenly increase so much? Does anyone buy it? Chen Xiang asked. He had 7 regeneration Dan-s in his possession, and he had already found a way to easily refine them, so he and Feng Yujie planned to fight back. No one has bought it yet, but it will soon be available. At that time, the boxing hall, sword hall and others would all have this kind of healing pellet. That fellow who sold the regeneration Dan very cheaply before, must earn back some money now. That's why he raised the price so suddenly. The oldest Gu said, Is it possible that little junior doesn't plan on refining more regeneration Dan now? Second brother Gu said, Now that the regeneration Dan's ingredients have all been bought by that guy, that BASTARD is actually HOA, writing quite a few regeneration Dan's ingredients. That guy sold the pills at a low price and bought the regeneration Dan's ingredients at a high price. On one hand, it's to publicize his own strength and his own ability as a regeneration Dan, and on the other hand, it's to wait for the large compet. 1. Tian to come and earn a lot of money. Chen Xiang said, During the large compet. 1. Tian, other forces will also come, right? The oldest Gu nodded his head. They will, and will be more than 10 days early. At that time, they will also come here to buy medicinal ingredients, because in this Super God realm, the Dan Halls are quite famous. More than 10 days later, a large group of disciples from other forces should arrive and start to build houses outside of the Divine Palace. It is the young men from Boxing Hall and Boxing Hall who are responsible for building these houses. Chen Xiang had been concocting pills in his closed-door cultivation these past few days, so he did not know about these things. If it was really like this, then he and Feng Yujie would have been able to counterattack using the regeneration Dan and let the young alchemist who was competing with them experience the feeling of being suppressed. Right now, Chen Xiang only needed to wait for Feng Yujie to come out before he could properly discuss how to activate the regeneration dan with her. Right now, Chen Xiang only needed to wait for Feng Yujie to come out before he could properly discuss how to activate the regeneration dan with her. Seeing Chen Xiang's smiling face, the oldest Gu did not understand, because they thought that Feng Yujie had given up on the regeneration dan. This was because he could not earn the Shen Yuan Stone's ingredients, and the regeneration dan's ingredients were all monopolized by the. Oh right, brat, there's another rather important matter I need to tell you. It's the third hall. A young brat called Zhan Shi died. Oldest Gu chuckled. This guy is also said to be a young alchemist who can refine Zhongping Dan. Chen Xiang and Yue both knew what was going on because Zhan Shi was the one who was killed by Chen Xiang. How did such a good seedling die? Chen Xiang asked in surprise. What's so strange about that? There's nothing strange about the divine medicine? Even if 10 or 8 Supreme Gods die, it wouldn't be anything strange. The oldest Gu said, right now, the hall masters of the 3 halls have already investigated. It's hard to say whether or not they know the cause of death. Chen Xiang nodded his head. He was sure that he did not leave any traces behind when he killed Zhan Shi, so that way, he would not be found out. Before, he was still worried that Zhang Zhuo's matter would be found out, but after such a long period of time, the Sword Hall seemed to have already given up on pursuing him. However, this Zhan Shi was somewhat different. A young alchemist like him had a very high status in the Supreme Divine Palace. 3 Gu brothers only returned to his room to rest for a few hours before running out in the middle of the night. During this time, they had been very busy preparing for the upcoming large compet. 1 Tian. Chen Xiang only waited 2 days before Feng Yujie came out from the secret underground room to look at her smile. He knew that she had used the method Chen Xiang taught her to successfully refine the regeneration dan. I can only refine 6 pills now. I need to refine 7 pills after I become familiar with them, Feng Yujie said very happily. She said the regeneration dan over to Chen Xiang and then ran into the bathroom to shower. Knowing that there were 2 great beauties bathing and playing inside, Chen Xiang couldn't help but think about it and wanted to join in the fun. There are still 7 to 8 days before the other powers' disciples will arrive outside the Supreme Divine Palace one by one. That guy's regeneration dan will rise to 1,500,000. Although they're selling for that price right now, no one has bought it yet, said Chen Xiang as he combed his hair after he finished showering. As soon as she hear the news, she understand what have happened. The person who refined the regeneration dan was a short boy named Hua Yang, the other one was a tall and dy boy called Chu Xiang. These 2 guys have a very good relations, Hi+P with each other, their alchemy skills are very good, Feng Yujie said. It seems like they plan to take advantage of this opportunity and earn a bit. They plan to sell the regeneration dan to the stronger disciples. Chen Xiang nodded his head. So when the time comes, the disciples of the various powers will need to reserve some healing pellets, and this regeneration dan will definitely be favored by many disciples. We need to hurry up and get some spirit orbs, Feng Yujie said. We have all successfully refined a batch of regeneration dan. Feng Yujie said, we all successfully refined a batch of spirit orbs, Feng Yujie said. We all successfully refined a batch of regeneration dan was very angry. She never wanted to get even with these brats, but now, she felt like she was being bullied. Let's rest a bit before we go to the secret room to refine pills. Feng Yujie gave Chen Xiang a signal. They did not only want to refine pills, they also wanted to condense spirit pearls to duplicate medicinal ingredients. Feng Yujie said to Yue, take a good look at her icy face. Don't let her run around randomly. During this period of time, Supreme Divine Palace will be rather complicated. Just let her stay in the courtyard. Shui Bingyan obediently said, Big sister, I will definitely not run around. You don't have to worry about me and just concoct pills with elder brother Shun. Seeing that Shui Bingyan was obedient, Feng Yujie smiled in relief and stroked her face, bringing out some delicious fruits for her to eat. Because of lack of time, Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie immediately went to the BAS. ENT, little scoundrel, we only have one portion of Regeneration Dan's medicinal pellets left. If we want to copy one of those, then we won't have much spirit liquid that you and I can cultivate alone, right? And the maximum we can condense is 6 spirit pellets a day. Feng Yujie bit her lower lip and her beautiful face blushed as she glanced at Chen Xiang bashfully. Chen Xiang felt that her reaction was a little strange and said, "Not bad, at least a few days will be enough for us to make a few batches of Regeneration Dan's medicinal herbs. If every batch is a success, we will have dozens of Regeneration Dan's pellet." Hearing Chen Xiang's words, Feng Yujie's beautiful face became even redder. "Little scoundrel, do you think it will be better if you join us to cultivate our spiritual pearls at a deeper level?" Only now did Chen Xiang understand that Feng Yujie's reaction speed had also increased a lot. That's for sure. Now we can. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Feng Yujie pounced over and gagged him with sandalwood. Then, she heard Feng Yujie's gentle voice in her mind, "I'll give you everything." Chen Xiang did not answer Feng Yujie and did not need him to make any promises, because Chen Xiang had been extremely helpful to her during this period of time. In the BAS. ENT, Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie were one body and mind, and the two of them had supreme God bone. This combination would bring them a much better harvest. Chen Xiang carried the mission of saving the 9 divine kings, so he had been of great help to Johanru. In the future, because of the pressure of saving the enemies that the 9 divine kings would face, Chen Xiang would have an even bigger chance of winning against the reserved Feng Yujie. The two of them naturally woke up. It was late at night and they didn't know how much time had passed. 10 purple pearls. Feng Yujie had seen the purple pearls that Chen Xiang and the others condensed when they were cultivating together, but they were all relatively large. Although she and Chen Xiang had condensed out 10 purple pearls, they were only the size of a grain of rice. Chen Xiang looked at the color of the purple pearls, then used his spirit eyes to look at the energy inside, and exclaimed in joy, "Although it is small, the effects are not weak at all." Feng Yujie asked in a low voice, "Little scoundrel, you and Qilian seem to be able to condense more than 10 pills at once, right?" Feng Yujie asked in a low voice, "Little scoundrel, you and Qilian seem to be able to condense more than 10 pills at once, right?" Chen Xiang smiled and nodded. If she was also of the God's strength, and we cultivated together, she should have already cultivated the alive slain method like she is now for many years. That's why she and I can condense a little more. Feng Yujie did not understand much about these spirit orbs. Even Chen Xiang did not know much about them, but only LV Qilian was familiar with this area, so she could roughly guess how many medicinal herbs the spirit orb could replicate. You and I both have the strength of Gods, so before, we could only kiss each other to condense spiritual beads that could be quickly replicated with divine medicines. But now, the spiritual beads that we condense will be even better. Chen Xiang took out a jade bowl, preparing to start copying the medicinal herb. Forging Regeneration Dan requires 4 kinds of blue spirit pearls before each one can be replicated, so to make a copy I need to make 8 blue spirit pearls. I wonder how many purple pearls are needed? Feng Yujie was also looking forward to seeing that she had already cut out a portion of the Regeneration Dan's medicine and placed it into 2 bowls. Chen Xiang nodded to Feng Yujie, indicating that Feng Yujie could put the pearl inside. The purple spirit pearl was only the size of a rice grain. After both Feng Yujie and Chen Xiang had finished cultivating, it had congealed in Feng Yujie's mouth. When Feng Yujie looked at the spirit pearl that he and his beloved man had condensed for the first time, a sweet feeling arose in his heart. She put a purple spirit pearl into the bowl. When the purple spirit pearl touched the water in the bowl, it instantly melted and turned into a deep purple color. After absorbing the violet water, the divine fruit quickly grew to the other half. Soon, 2 divine fruits appeared in the bowl. The water hasn't cleared out yet, so you can continue copying it? Chen Xiang said in surprise. Feng Yujie picked up the 2 divine fruits and cut them apart before placing them into a bowl. In the end, there were only 4 of them. Just a purple bead could change a Zhongping medicine. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie were both very surprised because this already exceeded their expectations. That's great. Feng Yujie happily kissed Chen Xiang's cheek. Our 10 purple pearls can turn into 40. Chen Xiang laughed. Let's cultivate double for 2 more days and we will be able to cultivate up to 20 more pills. Then, we will start to refine pills in the remaining time. Feng Yujie nodded her head. Although her face was red when she looked at Chen Xiang, it was filled with charm power. In the past, Chen Xiang could completely suppress the temptation of Feng Yujie. However, after experiencing the 9 heavens Des once, Chen Xiang realized that he had no way of resisting her. This also made Feng Yujie happily laugh at how she failed to seduce Chen Xiang previously. In just 2 days, Feng Yujie had already condensed 20 purple pearls. She left 10 of them for the reserved 20 to duplicate regeneration Dan's medicinal ingredients. Sister Feng, are you still refining that divine jade pellet? Chen Xiang asked. That divine jade pellet was a divine pellet that Feng Yujie had refined using the original source refining for the first time, and its effects were not bad as well. Of course I won't sell it for now. I plan to take it out after the compet. 1. Tie-in at Dan Hall. As long as she did not restrain the enticing power, Feng Yujie's clothes and her inherent charm would be added on top of the fact that she had already become Chen Xiang's woman. Feng Yujie saw that Chen Xiang could not hold it in anymore. She laughed and retracted the strange seductive power that was on her body, then laughed. First refine the pill, I wonder if it can be completed in a few days. Chen Xiang secretly took a deep breath, hugged Feng Yujie and kissed her cheek. It's all right if we can't refine it. Even if the 2 of them were to refine pills together in the secret chamber, they wouldn't find it dull and full of motivation. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie could use the original source refining to refine 4 batches of regeneration Dan-S per day. 2 people would refine 8 batches of regeneration Dan-S per day, and they had refined a total of 50 batches of pellets out of the pellet in 6 days. There were still 2 days until the disciples of other forces would head to Supreme Divine Palace. They were busy for a few days, so they needed to rest. Feng Yujie hugged Chen Xiang. Seeing that Chen Xiang was a little tired, she used her jade hands to caress his chest gently. Undying from exhaustion, Chen Xiang faintly smiled, then lightly inhaled and relaxed his entire body. He began to rest. He needed to recover fully. The second day, Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie walked out of the secret room. When Shui Bingyan saw them, he hastily went over to greet them and said them 2 cups of ice-cold water. This is the iced tea that I refined. It's very delicious. The big senior brother and the hall master both said it's very good. Shui Bingyan said as he giggled. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie took the iced tea from her. Just as they were about to drink it, they felt a very ing and cool sensation, allowing them to drink it in one gulp. Her icy face is getting more and more powerful, and she can even make such delicious iced tea, Feng Yujie praised. This made Shui Bingyan feel extremely happy, as if he was a child being praised by an adult. Chen Xiang laughed. Bingyan is too bored staying here these few days. Let's go, let's take you out for a walk. Shui Bingyan had long wanted to look outside. Hearing Chen Xiang's words, he immediately cheered and jumped out of the courtyard while holding Feng Yujie's hand. Yuer flew into Chen Xiang's backpack and smiled sweetly. The taste of the 9 heavens Des is pretty good, right? Chen Xiang pressed his finger on her head. Don't speak carelessly about this matter. Yue stuck out her cute and pet 1. tongue as she laughed. Of course I won't speak carelessly. However, obtaining the 9 heavens G.O.D.E.S. is one of the goals of those princes. After all, the 9 heavens G.O.D.E.S. possesses the inheritance of the 9 divine kings. Of course, other than that, there was the 9 heaven world. I don't know about the specifics. Chen Xiang did not know about this matter. He and Feng Yujie only dual cultivated a live slain method, but they did not cultivate. Other than that, he planned to give it a try. At this time, the inside of the Supreme Divine Palace was relatively deserted because everyone had gathered in a city outside of the Supreme Divine Palace. The city was called Heroes Gathering Divine City, and it was constructed quite grand, and it was very close to the Supreme Divine Palace, and it looked just like the Supreme Divine Palace. This city was established to welcome the other disciples of the Super God realm. In the future, this city would gather the commoners of some nearby villages. This would be quite beneficial for the disciples of the Supreme Divine Palace. At least, it would be more convenient to purchase divine medicines and other things in the future. Feng Yujie brought Shui Bingyan and walked in the front. Their clothes were all relatively simple, but their outstanding appearance caused quite a few men to look at them. There weren't many people in the city yet, but it could be seen that among the disciples of other forces were the disciples of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain that Chen Xiang was more familiar with. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie were walking on the road, when they suddenly saw an old man in front of them who was waving to them. This old man was oldest Gu. He was standing in front of a 5-story tall building. Gu Lao Er and Gu Lao San were also there. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie were walking on the road, when they suddenly saw an old man in front of them who was waving to them. This old man was oldest Gu. He was standing in front of a 5-story tall building. Gu Lao Er and Gu Lao San were also there. Chen Xiang quickly walked over and saw that the first floor was empty. Most of the shops on the street were empty. Little demon, this is our 10th hall's shop. Do you want to sell anything here? If we don't have anything to sell, we can transfer it to someone else and also get a share of the rent, the oldest Gu said. On the way here, Feng Yujie had said that he wanted to find a shop to sell his regeneration dan, and it was a headache for him. He hadn't thought that the 10th hall would be allocated such a good shop once this Heroes Gathering Divine City was completed. Of course there is. We want to sell the divine pills, and when we get the Xun Yuan stone, we will give you some. Chen Xiang laughed. We were just worrying about the matters of the shop. The oldest Gu laughed. You youngsters sure are vigorous. It's almost time for the compet. 1. Tie-in, and you can even get some divine pills for sale. We old bones can't anyway. Second brother Gu said. Being able to own such a shop is all thanks to the Hall Master. The Hall Master must have contributed greatly to the Supreme Divine Palace, which is why he obtained it. In all of Dan Hall, only our 10th hall can obtain it, and in the other halls, it seems like only 10 of us can obtain it. Chen Xiang was puzzled and asked. This divine city is not small, and we also have a lot of shops. Why are there so few shrines that are distributed among our Supreme Divine Palaces? Only about 10 halls can be bought. The oldest Gu said. Of course, after Supreme Divine Palace constructs this divine city, he will have to spend a lot of effort to protect it in the future. Especially those few large transmission arrays, which consume a large amount of Xun Yuan stone every day. That's why our Supreme Divine Palace will rent out these stores. Our Supreme Divine Palace will have a certain share of it, so for the other halls, those who want to rent out shops to do business, they will have to depend on relations. HI plus PS to get it. Feng Yujie asked. So you mean that the people from the other powers can also open shops here? Oldest Gu nodded his head. The reason we built this divine city is to gather the elite disciples of all the powers in the Super OD realm, it is beneficial for the development of all the major powers, and the conditions are better in all aspects of the Supreme Divine Palace, so we choose to build here. Chen Xiang looked at the extremely wide street and asked, "To build such a wide street, is it to make it convenient for the big men of the Beast Divine Palace? The big figures of the Beast Divine Palace have many good things, and they do not know how to use them. When they were building the Divine City, Hall Master had already instructed that the big figures of the Beast Divine Palace must consider everything carefully." Feng Yujie walked into the shop and exclaimed, "There are a total of 10 stores, and each of them is so big with 5 floors above. If we were to rent this shop, we would probably receive quite a lot of Shen Yuan stone every month. Of course, at least 1,000,000 or so Shen Yuan stones. If they were to develop in the future, thousands and thousands of Shen Yuan stones a month would still be okay." Oldest Gu said, "You guys can take it since you lack a shop. In any case, we brothers don't lack any Shen Yuan stone, so when you guys are tired, you guys can let us know and we'll transfer the shop out. Tomorrow, the transmission array will be completely stable, and at that time, the disciples of the other forces will also come here. Earlier on, in order to attract people from other forces to come here, the transmission array was free." Old Gu said, "Right now, the transmission array was not completed yet, but there were already a lot of people, and they all came from different places. Although there were some disciples in the Supreme Divine Palace, they were not as many as in other places." Chen Xiang asked, "Will the large compet 1. Tian also be held here?" Oldest Gu said, "It will be held here. The venue will be in the middle and it will be a large plaza. When the time comes, it will be a public compet 1 Tian." Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie were not worried about all this. They had experienced many big things, and what they were more concerned about was how to quickly sell the regeneration dan in their hands. Inside the shop, there was only one table. Feng Yujie called the 3 Gu brothers in and told them to shut the door. Chen Xiang saw a sly glint flash across Feng Yujie's eyes and knew what she was planning. "My 3 senior brothers, I know you've been very busy. This shop is so big now, just Chen Xiang and I alone will find it difficult to manage it all at once, and we will need to open it tomorrow, so—" Hearing Feng Yujie say that, 3 Gu brothers immediately understood. Oldest Gu laughed. "If you need our help, just say it directly, you are our junior sister." Shui Bingyan, who was at the side, laughed. "And me, I am also your junior sister." Right. You two are our little junior sisters now." Oldest Gu laughed. "Isn't it just opening tomorrow? Today, we will help you arrange everything here. This small matter is not difficult for us." Feng Yujie took out a jade tablet and chuckled. "Then this little sister will first thank the 3 senior brothers. This is the Regeneration Dan's pill formula, I will gift it to you guys." 3 Gu brothers obviously knew the value of Regeneration Dan. This was a pretty good Zhongping Dan. Seeing that Feng Yujie wanted to give this to them, they all refused. "That won't do, we don't have anything good to return the gesture, we can't take it. If the hall master finds out, he'll teach us too." Oldest Gu hurriedly shook his head. Second brother Gu said, "Junior sister, please don't be so formal, aren't we just helping you out with a small favor? Was there a need to be so polite? Hurry and take it back." Chen Xiang laughed. "I won't hide it from the 3 senior brothers, this Regeneration Dan is no longer of much value in our eyes, so I can gift it to you, and we do not just ask you to help us arrange this place well, there are other hard work for you all." Feng Yujie nodded his head and said with a smile, "Chen Xiang and I have been busy refining Regeneration Dan, and now there are more than 300 of them. Those 2 guys who came together are our biggest compet 1 tours. They must have been preparing for this for a long time. Not long ago they even made a loss selling their Regeneration Dans to increase their fame, so I want to have the 3 senior brothers help us advertise our Regeneration Dans. When the time comes, I want to let everyone know that the Regeneration Dans we are selling here are cheaper than those 2 guys, and better than theirs." Three Gu brothers was frightened quite badly. They had collected more than 300 regeneration Dan, and just thinking about it made them frightened. Because of the information they had gathered, even the two of them here only had 60 to 70 regeneration Dan. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie still had a lot of regeneration Dan's medicinal ingredients in their hands. However, due to time constraints, they did not manage to refine them in time. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie still had a lot of regeneration Dan's medicinal ingredients in their hands. However, due to time constraints, they did not manage to refine them in time. Right now, they were certain that the currency used by the Super God realm and those divine nations were the Shen Yuan stone, and their target in the future was the 9 great divine nations. Therefore, they had to take advantage of this situation to store a few more Shen Yuan stone, not to mention that they needed to gather a large amount of divine medicine. The oldest Gu said, "This is a big matter. If we do not inform the hall master about this matter, and prevent him from parting aiding, he will definitely scold us. I will call him over right now." Just as oldest Gu finished speaking, Gu Lao Air smiled and said, "I had already used a sound transmission jade to notify him. This is a huge matter in our 10th hall, of course hall master would not be missing." Old Gu smiled. "The members of the 10th hall are all here, we're only missing one hall master. It's about time to gather. After all, our 10th hall has 3 new young men." Oldest Gu patted Chen Xiang's shoulders and laughed. "It's all thanks to this kid." Shui Bingyan said guiltily, "My fellow senior brothers and sisters, I do not know how to refine pills, I only know how to make iced tea." Shui Bingyan brought out the iced tea that she had just made, one for each person. She still had a large pot in her hands. "It's fine, we'll be fine. Our 10th hall hasn't had youngsters like you for so many years. How good is it now?" He was the eldest senior brother, and was very concerned with Chen Xiang and the others. He was just like a younger brother and sister to him. Luo Tianjun came and saw that 3 Gu brothers and the others were chatting and laughing, drinking that delicious iced tea, and scolded him the moment he entered the door. "You bunch of brats, you've been gathering for so long, only now did you notify me." The moment Luo Tianjun walked in, Shui Bingyan immediately gave him a cup of iced tea. Was extremely fond of this foolish girl, Shui Bingyan. Feng Yujie immediately chattered on about his plan to Luo Tianjun. After Luo Tianjun finished listening, he sighed with emotion. "You youngsters are even more powerful than us old bones. A while ago, this brat helped old Zhu complete a very dangerous mission, and now you, as a little girl, have tossed out a few hundred regeneration Dans." Chen Xiang laughed. "All of these were forced out, Sister Feng was previously provoked by those 2 little imps, so she decided to retaliate." Luo Tianjun stroked his mustache and nodded. "That's right, the 2 fellows from before were selling their regeneration Dans at a low price. Now I want to take them back, but I can't let them succeed in the first place. Now is a good opportunity, so you guys can arrange everything properly here and leave the matter of the promotions to me. It's really been many years since I traveled and have also ACCU. Mulat a lot of connections, I can guarantee that you guys will have a good start tomorrow." Although Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie were happy when they heard it, they also felt a lot of pressure. If business were to be good, they would need to provide enough regeneration Dan. "Hall Master, we will sell only 100 pills on the first day. After that, we will provide 50 pills a day until there is no more." Feng Yujie said, "If there are too many people, we can sell them all in one day." Luo Tianjun said, "Sure, as long as you don't let the regeneration Dan of those 2 sell." Feng Yujie took out a few regeneration Dans and handed them over to Luo Tianjun and 3 Gu brothers, saying, "Take a look at the quality of these regeneration Dan, and compare them with the quality of the ones in one room. Very good, the quality is good, and it looks fresh. It was just made not long ago, right? The 2 regeneration Dan in the hall have been stored for a long time, and their quality has dropped a lot. They are definitely not as good as you 2, Even if they aren't concocting pills, you can tell at a glance. The oldest Gu praised. In this place, only Luo Tianjun knew about Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie's background, so he was not surprised at all with these regeneration dan. Chen Xiang took a jade tablet from Feng Yujie and said, "Hall Master, Senior Brothers, this is the regeneration dan's pill formula. Sister Feng has already set it down to me. Now that you have helped us, I will give it to you." Luo Tianjun originally did not want it, but since Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie had forcefully given it to him, he could only accept it and give it to 3 Gu brothers as well. "Brat, if you need help, you can also go to Old Iron Sea. OCK. This guy probably doesn't have anything to do right now, so he'll definitely help you guys enthusiastically," Luo Tianjun said. "Who is the Old Iron Sea? OCK. Feng Yujie thought about it. She and Chen Xiang did not know each other. "He's that old man from the Supreme Hall. We all call him Old Iron Sea. OCK, but you can't call him that in front of everyone. It's very rude." Luo Tianjun laughed out loud. "He should be hosting the construction of the transmission array at the plaza right now. You can take a walk. As for the arrangement here, leave it to the 3 of them. You can go and play as much as you want." The old man from the Supreme Hall was extremely powerful, but his nickname was actually the Old Iron Sea. OCK, which made it difficult for Chen Xiang and Chen Xiang to understand him. When Luo Tianjun left the shop, 3 Gu brothers also split up and moved. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie brought Shui Bingyan and walked towards the large plaza in the middle. Yu Er stuck her head out from her backpack and said excitedly, "The transmission array is completed. It will be more convenient for me to return to the Supreme Divine Palace in the future. At that time, I can introduce some of my friends to me." After Shui Bingyan heard this, he asked, "Yuer, is your friend a little kitten?" Yuer shook her head. "No, there are birds, little eagles, little tigers, and little snake. When the time comes, I'll see if I can contact them." Chen Xiang also thought that Yuer's friends were all cat. He didn't expect that her relations HI+P with them was so broad. When they reached the plaza, they quickly found the Old Iron Sea. OCK. He was pointing at a few elderly men as he adjusted the transmission array. What made Chen Xiang startled was that he saw Xiao holding onto a black sword. Xiao stood at the side of the plaza coldly, as if he was waiting for something. "Sister Feng, bring Bingyan to talk with Senior Old Iron Sea. OCK. I'll go take a look at what's going on with Xiao." Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Feng Yujie before walking to the other side of the large plaza, where Xiao stood. Xiao had already seen Chen Xiang, so he nodded towards him. Chen Xiang had saved him before and was even Chi's HI+S friend. "Senior Xie, what are you doing here?" Chen Xiang asked in a low voice. "Wait for the bandits in Purple Smoke Divine Mountain. Once they appear, I will let them stain this place in blood. I just had a breakthrough, I can use them to train." Xiao spoke very casually, as if he was just chatting normally. In his eyes, killing the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain DS was like lifting his hand. Chen Xiang's eyebrows twitched. Once Xiao broke through, his killing intent was this strong. He laughed. "Senior, this is not good. Tomorrow is a good day for all the major powers to gather here. You are here to kill someone?" Xiao said indifferently. "Don't be afraid. Who asked them to steal me? The disciples of our Supreme Divine Palace were robbed. It is only natural to kill them back. Don't worry, tomorrow, there will be a person with full prestige supporting me in the Supreme Divine Palace. I have already investigated. Those bandits' reputations are terrible. Tomorrow I will expose them for sure." Chen Xiang also wished for those bandits to die. These bandits were plotting against him, and they also did a lot of heartless things in the Divine Medicinal Treasure Land. They deserved to die. If he had Supreme Divine Palace's support, Chen Xiang would be happy to see it. Xiao had already hinted at Chen Xiang that he had a very strong backer in the Supreme Divine Palace. Regarding this matter, Zhan Shi did not know, but he had thought that Xiao was just a small fry in the boxing hall. Xiao had already hinted at Chen Xiang that he had a very strong backer in the Supreme Divine Palace. Regarding this matter, Zhan Shi did not know, but he had thought that Xiao was just a small fry in the boxing hall. Chen Xiang understood that the boxing hall belonged to one of the divine nations' factions, and the elders in charge of the boxing hall and the sword hall were all working hard for the divine nations. Xiao was now with the boxing hall, so could his backer be an elder of the boxing hall? And how did he build a good relations, Hi+P with that elder? Chen Xiang was very curious, but he did not ask. They may not come until tomorrow, Chen Xiang said. Tomorrow our 10th hall's shop will open. If I have time tomorrow I will come and take a look. He already knew about his real appearance. Because he had killed Zhan Shi and one of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain's disciples, he did not want to meet with the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain's disciple again. He was worried that something might leak out. Of course, he was very happy that these bandits had gotten rid of him, because they had planned to capture him and force him to hand over the G.O.D. murdering sword techniques and the heavenly alchemy, and the one who ordered them to do so was an elder of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain. Xiao said, "Furthermore, I have heard news that they will be here tonight. If nothing unexpected happens, it should be like this." Xiao had just seen Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie come together. He had met Feng Yujie before, but that was a long time ago. Feng Yujie was currently chatting and laughing with the old Iron C.O.C.K., causing him to be secretly surprised. Xiao had been in the Supreme Divine Palace for a very long time, so he knew the character of the old Iron C.O.C.K. He was a petty and black-hearted person, and he very rarely talked or laughed with disciples, unless it was to trade with him. Chen Xiang said, "Then I will come back later, I still have some matters to attend to, I will be leaving first, goodbye." Xiao nodded towards Chen Xiang, and then watched Chen Xiang walk towards the old Iron C.O.C.K. "Elder, when will this transmission array be completed?" Chen Xiang wanted to confirm if what Xiao said was true. The Purple Smoke Divine Mountain's G.O.D. of heaven would come tonight. We can build it before nightfall. Where do you want to go? The old Iron C.O.C.K. laughed. Chen Xiang had given him a Dao Heart Stone. There was no need to talk about him giving it to Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie. Feng Yujie laughed. The elder already knows that we are opening a shop. He said that he will help us spread the news, and he will even send people to help us decorate the shop. Chen Xiang immediately replied gratefully, "Thank you, elder, for your help. There's no need to stand on ceremony." When old Iron C.O.C.K. received the Dao Heart Stone that Chen Xiang gifted to him, he did not speak carelessly about it, as it would bring Chen Xiang trouble. Just as old Iron C.O.C.K. finished speaking, a gust of cool wind suddenly blew over. Chen Xiang was immediately startled. He was extremely familiar with this gust of wind. It was that Xiao Changle. Xiao Changle was the hall master of the Six Realms Divine Palace, so both Feng Yujie and Luo Tianjun knew this Xiao Changle. The last time Xiao Changle had said that he would come to the Supreme Divine Palace, he hadn't even finished constructing the transmission array before he had arrived. "It's this guy. I never thought that he would actually come. I even thought that Hallmaster was joking." Old Iron C.O.C.K. looked in a direction as he muttered to himself. It seems like he knew of this Xiao Changle as well. Feng Yujie sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. "Has Xiao Changle come?" Although many years have passed, said, "This aura is extremely familiar." Xiao Changle was a disciple that was specially groomed by the 9 divine kings, so Xiao Changle recognized him. "It's this guy. He is the hall master of the 6 realms divine palace, but he always appears and disappears. without a trace of an expert's demeanor. Chen Xiang complained, "Last time, this guy scared me like a ghost." Feng Yujie and Chen Xiang returned to the shop. Shui Bingyan held Feng Yujie's arm and looked in one direction. In that direction, there was also the direction old Iron Sea. Oh, see. K had just been looking. "Bingyan, what are you looking at?" Feng Yujie had already guessed that Shui Bingyan was there, but she still wanted to confirm. "There's a very strong guy over there, but he doesn't have any ill intentions towards us, so we don't need to be afraid of him." Shui Bingyan blinked his eyes and then did not take this matter to heart anymore. Feng Yujie laughed tenderly. "Chen Xiang, if this Xiao Chang'e knows that I have already become your woman, he might be jealous, so you better be prepared." Chen Xiang was a little shocked. "This guy has pursued you before?" Feng Yujie stuck out her tongue, pouted her lips and said, "Look at your reaction, it's as though I don't have anyone chasing after you. You must know that I am the G.O.D.S of the 9 heavens, and there are many men who wish to obtain me." Chen Xiang laughed. "So what, in the end you're still not mine? Let them go to Hell. Feng Yujie curled his lips. "Many of those fellows are very strong. It's not easy for you to get them to go to Hell. For example, this Xiao Chang'e is now the Hall Master of the 6 Realms Divine Palace." Shui Bingyan asked, "Elder Brother Shun, the Xiao Chang'e you are talking about, is he him?" As she said that, she opened her jade palm, and a pool of water appeared in her palm. The lump of water quickly turned into a small person, with long hair fluttering in the wind, elegant demeanor, and a flute in hand. It was the extremely handsome Xiao Chang'e. "It's this guy." Chen Xiang laughed. "Bingyan, you're really amazing. You've already seen him?" "Yes, there is water vapor that people can't see at all times. Through this water vapor, I can see everything around me." Shui Bingyan nodded. She was a Tao spirit and had naturally mastered the laws of ice and water. "Elder Brother Shin, are you going to deal with this guy? If he bullies you, I'll help you beat him up." Shui Bingyan replied, "I can beat him." That was why Shui Bingyan said this when she heard Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie's conversation. It was because she heard from Chen Xiang that Chen Xiang had a powerful enemy. This allowed Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie to have a new understanding of Shui Bingyan's strength. "About this, we don't need it for now. He is not my enemy." Chen Xiang caressed her jade face and laughed. "Bingyan, you have great strength, do not recklessly kill innocent people. I think you should be able to tell that those are bad guys and good people." Shui Bingyan immediately said, "I can tell, Elder Brother Shun is a good person." Chen Xiang nodded with satisfaction and laughed. "Not bad." Feng Yujie shook his head. Chen Xiang was a good person, but sometimes he was like a demon. As they were on their way back to the shop, they met Luo Tianjun, who seemed to be looking for them. "It's great that we met you. Then Xiao Chang'e is here, let's go see him." "I haven't seen him for a while." Luo Tianjun laughed. Feng Yujie suddenly held onto Chen Xiang's hand tightly. It was obvious that she was nervous. Feng Yujie suddenly held onto Chen Xiang's hand tightly. It was obvious that she was nervous. Chen Xiang asked through sound transmission, "What are you worried about?" Feng Yujie shook her head, she did not reply, but merely followed behind Luo Tianjun thoughtfully. Chen Xiang guessed that she was worried about meeting Xiao Chang'e, since she was the one who had been pursued by Xiao Chang'e before. "There's nothing to be afraid of." Chen Xiang laughed and sent a sound transmission to Feng Yujie. "Sister Feng, he should have had the same strength as you back then, is he much stronger than you now?" Feng Yujie replied, "Of course not, he was already much stronger than me back then. Back then, I was still very young, and I was created by the 9 divine kings for only over 20 years." Chen Xiang laughed. "At that time, he was just like a G.O.D. and now he has yet to break through to the supreme G.O.D. realm, isn't that a little weak?" Feng Yujie shook his head. "It's not easy for him to break through to super G.O.D. realm." For him to be able to reach his current level, it's already considered very impressive. Of course, you are an exception. Luo Tianjun seemed to be in a hurry to see Xiao Chang'e, so he increased his pace along the way. Xiao Chang'e had just appeared in the plaza earlier, but the direction that Luo Tianjun was heading towards was the forest outside of Supreme Divine Palace. Chen Xiang remembered that it was a forbidden area, and there was even a very powerful barrier enveloping it, making it difficult to enter even if he wanted to. When Luo Tianjun arrived at the forest, he suddenly stopped in his track. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie also stopped, because they knew that there was a barrier in front of them. On the other hand, Shui Bingyan was skipping and chasing after a beautiful bee, turfly, and when she arrived outside the barrier, she saw beautiful flowers inside, so she flew over by herself. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie were about to call for her to stop, but she had unexpectedly said through the barrier and arrived beside the red flower. Seeing that, Luo Tianjun turned pale and stood there in a daze. Brat, just what is the background of this girl Bingyan? It was only now that Luo Tianjun realized that he had been mistaken for so many days. Shui Bingyan had casually said through this barrier without being discovered, and this kind of strength was extremely terrifying. He could not imagine how such a naive and innocent woman could actually possess this kind of terrifying strength. Well, didn't I help Elder Zhu find the Tao Heart Stone a while ago? I took her out of there, Chen Xiang said in a low voice. Luo Tianjun took out an array disc, and only then could he open a hole for them to go in. Feng Yujie anxiously pulled Shui Bingyan, worried that she would barge through some more array formation, and if she encountered some more killing array formations, it might cause some unnecessary trouble. Pavilion Master, where is this place? Then why did Xiao Chang'e come here? Chen Xiang looked around. All he could see were ancient evergreen trees, birds chirping and the fragrance of flowers. It was a little different from the Supreme Divine Palace and that heroes gathering divine city. This is the residence of the Hall Master of our Supreme Divine Palace, and is also the place where our elders normally meet the Hall Master to discuss things. There are many precious things stored here, that's why there's such a powerful barrier, but just now, this girl Bingyan. Luo Tianjun said in a low voice. I will help all of you hide things related to the ice phase. In the future, I need to be more careful. Following Luo Tianjun, Chen Xiang and the others arrived at a manor. In the courtyard, 2 young people and an old man sat on a stone table. One of the young men was Xiao Chang'e, who was dressed very carefully. He had long hair and was dressed very neatly. The other young man wore a plain black robe, had short hair, and a body that also looked relatively small. However, he gave off a sharp and powerful feeling, his eyes were like a hawk's, and the moment he looked over, he made Chen Xiang, Feng Yujie and the others tremble. This short-haired man should be the Supreme Divine Palace's palace master. It's actually him. Feng Yujie sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. I also know this person, and he is a young man that 9 divine kings had guided in the past. It seems like I was able to easily enter the Supreme Divine Palace with his assistance in the dark. His name is Mu Chen, and he has mastered the laws of lightning. Old Luo, you're really a great person from the 10th Hall. Mu Chen laughed, his voice resonating loudly. When Feng Yujie and Chen Xiang walked closer, Xiao Chang'e suddenly frowned, and then, he said in shock, You are little Jie? Mu Chen laughed. It's that little girl, she has been in Supreme Divine Palace for a while. Seeing Feng Yujie holding on to Chen Xiang's hand, Xiao Chang'e seemed to have understood something, but his reaction was not as worried as Feng Yujie's. He only smiled faintly. I had thought that I would never see you again. Feng Yujie sighed. I'm also surprised to be able to see you all again. Back then 9 divine kings did not see the wrong person. You have done a lot of good things now. Mu Chen laughed out loud. That's of course. Back in the days, 9 divine kings gave us so much effort to cultivate us. How could we fail to live up to his expectations? At this time, Ibidong also came. He was quite familiar with Xiao Changle and Mu Chun. What we're going to say next is more important. This cat and this girl. Zhu Xiangyuan looked at Yue, and Yue looked at him as well. It's you. Zhu Xiangyuan was shocked, her powerful body trembled. Why are you so excited? Didn't you see this cat last time? Luo Tianjun immediately felt it was strange. Zhu Xiangyuan looked very excited at the moment, and this made both Xiao Changle and Mu Chun very interested. To be able to make Mu Chun this excited, it was obvious that there was some kind of story. Yue also thought it was strange. She mewed twice, but she did not recognize Zhu Xiangyuan. Star and Crescent Beast. I'm not mistaken. Zhu Xiangyuan said. Meow. Yue cried out and even stuck out her tongue. The Star and Crescent Beast is not bad, what's so strange about it? He doesn't seem to know you. Luo Tianjun said. Xiao Changle, Mu Chun and Ibidong had long since figured out that Yue was a Star and Crescent Beast. Last time I went to your 10th hall, that kitten was carried by this girl, so I didn't see its wings, but I saw it just now. Zhu Xiangyuan said. It's a white cat with wings, I definitely won't recognize it wrongly. The last time I went to look for the Dao Heartstone, it was this kitten that saved me. Meow. Yue also thought it was strange. How could she have saved Zhu Xiangyuan? You must have remembered wrongly. In my memory, I didn't save you. Their voices are the same. Why is that impossible? Zhu Xiangyuan was even more certain that Yue had saved him. Qin Xiang carried Yue out from the backpack and asked, Inside your Star Moon Divine Race, is there any cat with the same exact appearance and voice as yours? Yue shook her head, broke free from Qin Xiang's embrace and flew to Shui Bingyan. No, I'm a pure white cat. Although there are some white cats in the Star Moon Divine Race, they're not really big, but their wings have different colors or their eyes are different from mine. Of course, most of them could take human form. Furthermore, it's not like you don't know my strength. Other than escaping, it's not impossible for me. This caused Qin Xiang to recall Huang Jintian's situation. Huang Jintian had lived for many years, but he had forgotten what happened many years ago. This caused Qin Xiang to recall Huang Jintian's situation. Huang Jintian had lived for many years, but he had forgotten what happened many years ago. I am absolutely sure. The cat that saved me back then was you. Zhu Xiangyuan said with certainty. Could you have lost that memory? Yue was also very suspicious. She firmly believed that she had not lost any of her memories before she asked Zhu Xiangyuan about the time she saved him. After Zhu Xiangyuan told her the exact time, Yue shook her head and said, I was indeed born a long time ago, the time you mentioned, but I have all the memories I have before this, so it is impossible that it isn't just this period of time. Tell me, how did I save you? Zhu Xiangyuan pondered for a while, then said, At that time I was just about to be entangled by a bark-covered guy with tree vines. At that time I would already be severely injured. But at that moment you suddenly appeared and released a white light from your body, making the vines that the bark man released retract. Then, you brought me with you in a fast spatial teleportation, taking me far away from that dangerous place. Although I was heavily injured at that time, I was very clear-headed. I definitely remember it. Yue ran back into Qin Xiang's backpack, but she did not say anything. It was obvious that she was confused by Zhu Xiangyuan suddenly telling her all these things, as she needed to calm down and think about it carefully. Let's get down to business. Give Yue some time, she still doesn't understand what's going on. Feng Yujie said. He was extremely grateful towards Yue. After all, his life had been saved by Yue. As the Hall Master of the Supreme Divine Palace, Mu Chun suddenly realized that he was not very clear about the disciples that he had just joined. He and Xiao Changle seemed to have discovered that Shui Bingyan was a little strange, but they could not really ask him any questions. Elder Zhu, what important matter did you just say? He and Feng Yujie were brought here by Luo Tianjun, so they definitely did not come to see Xiao Chang'e. Mu Chen said, "Tell me about our current situation. Bai Dong went to visit the divine nations, you should already know about it by now." Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie nodded their heads. Mu Chen continued to speak. "There are a lot of things that needs to be resolved on divine nations' side, but because of the great changes that have occurred in Nine Heaven World, they have no choice but to draw out some of their power to deal with them. Soon, Nine Heaven World will swallow this Super G.O.D. realm. Once the Super G.O.D. realm is annexed, even if the 9 great divine nations join forces, they would still be unable to shake it, and they could only use B.L.O.O.D.Y methods to take over the Nine Heaven World." Mu Chen's face was filled with reverence when he talked about the Nine Heaven World, because the Nine Heaven World was a creation of the 9 divine kings. Xiao Chang'e looked at Feng Yujie and said indifferently, "Xiao Jie, you're the 9 Heavens G.O.D.S. You should know what to do when the time comes, right?" Feng Yujie slightly lowered her head, as if she was recalling something. She was also very surprised at this moment, because she never thought that such a thing would happen. The speed at which the 9 Heaven World grew was so fast that it was hard for her to believe. Chen Xiang said, "So that means that G.O.D.S. realm has already been swallowed?" Mu Chen nodded. "It has already been swallowed. The speed at which the 9 Heaven World grows can be described as crazy." The G.O.D.S. realm was no longer here. He had already become a 9 Heaven World, and the 9 Heaven World was still growing stronger and stronger. Once he absorbed the Super G.O.D. realm, he would be able to go and find LV Qilian and the others anytime in the future. Back then, he had a good foundation in both the 9 Heaven World and G.O.D.S. realm. If he was not suppressed by the 9 G.O.D.S. nation, after a period of development, he would definitely become a strong power. What he was worried about right now was that the 9 divine nations in order to control the 9 Heaven World, would slaughter all of the disobedient forces in the 9 Heaven World. At present, in Super G.O.D. realm, Beast Divine Palace, 6 Realms Divine Palace and Supreme Divine Palace are the 3 strongest forces. Of course, the 9 G.O.D.S. nation is many times stronger than us, it's just that they don't want to come out on the surface. Their current plan is to control the Supreme Divine Palace and the other 6 Realms Divine Palace, to use that to rope in the big and small forces of the 9 Heaven World. Mu Chen continued to speak. If 9 G.O.D.S. nation really wants to do this, there's nothing we can do about it. After all, 9 G.O.D.S. nation is very strong. Feng Yujie sighed. In that case, the 9 G.O.D.S. nation wants the 6 Realms Divine Palace and the 6 Realms Divine Palace to control the 9 Heaven World, so that they, the 9 G.O.D.S. nation, do not have to appear, and can directly control the 9 Heaven World, so that they can peacefully continue doing their work. Xiao Chang'e laughed helplessly. That's right, and at that time in the large compet. 1. Tian, someone from the 9 G.O.D.S. nation will come. But I heard that when the time comes, they might even drag down the Beast Divine Palace. Yuer, who was hiding in the rucksack, stuck her head out and said, "Impossible, Beast Divine Palace is different from you too. Because the ones leading the Beast Divine Palace are the 4 great divine beasts. It's not like you don't know that the 4 divine beasts clan was very supportive of the 9 divine kings, it was he who saved them. Moreover, the 4 divine beasts clan hates the 9 G.O.D.S. nation very much. They would never listen to his orders." Mu Chen shook his head and said, "If it was in the past, that would be the case. You are a star and crescent beast, you should be a member of the star-moon divine race. Your G.O.D. race is very strong, but looking at the current situation, Beast Divine Palace's strongest power should be the Divine Lion race. At that time, the other 3 G.O.D. beast clans would definitely choose to endure or even compromise in order to avoid conflict with the divine lion race. If the old beast king was here in the past, the 4 beast clans definitely wouldn't be like this. Your 4 great beast clans are all lacking a powerful emperor, so right now, you are just a piece of loose sand, and you are even afraid that something bad might happen. Yuer did not say anything more because she knew a little about this. Especially the divine lion race. Your beast divine palace can still guarantee good order right now, but that is because the 4 beast clans that are in charge of your beast divine palace do not wish to cause chaos. However, if they were to face the 9 nation's threat, it is very likely that they would compromise. After all, the leaders of the 4 divine beasts clan only want peace and stability. Xiao Chengel said. So it turns out that none of the 4 great beasts had any beast emperors. This made Chen Xiang feel extremely worried. No, our beast divine palace still has the all-beast divine lord. If something really happens, the all-beast divine lord will wake up, and under the all-beast divine lord's leaders, Hi+P at most, they will have to fight another battle with the 9 nation. The 9 nation must have something very important on their minds right now. Let's see if they dare to start a war with the all-beast divine lord. Yuer's eyes were filled with determination. It seemed like all-beast divine lord could revive at any time. Xiao Chengel and Mu Chen both sighed slightly. They admired Yuer's resolute heart, but they still sighed. Divine Lion Race has already taken over Beast Divine Palace, and Divine Lion Race has already secretly made a deal with 9 nation. It can be said that Beast Divine Palace is more or less under 9 nation's control. As long as the other 3 clans do not resist at that time, the Beast Divine Palace will definitely take action against the 9 Heaven World. Mu Chen sighed. In the face of such a situation, Chen Xiang felt a lot of pressure, because in this situation, it would be best for the 9 Divine Kings to come out. And the 9 Divine Kings needed his help to get out of the 9-fold SPAC. He needed to find another 4 symbols divine weapons. In the face of such a situation, Chen Xiang felt a lot of pressure, because in this situation, it would be best for the 9 Divine Kings to come out. And the 9 Divine Kings needed his help to get out of the 9-fold SPAC. He needed to find another 4 symbols divine weapons. At that time, the 9 Heaven World will be affected by the power of the 9 nation. Furthermore, right now the 9 Heaven World has already merged with the GODS realm. There are already many shrines in the GODS realm that are loyal to the 9 GODS nation. That's why the 9 GODS nation can smoothly take over the position of 9 Heaven World. Perhaps the 3 of us don't even need to do anything. Luo Tianjun said. Ibidong shook his head. It's hard to say. What if the 9 Heaven World's original power is also extremely terrifying and can go toe-to-toe with the GODS realm's divine palace? Zhu Xiangyuan asked. You have never tried to understand these things? When did 9 Heaven World take over the GODS realm? It started 3 days ago. At present, we don't even know much about the powers above 9 Heaven World. After all, there is still SPAC between them, so it's not good for us to get to know each other. Mu Chen said. The ones who understand 9 Heaven World the best should be the 2 of them. Mu Chen looked towards Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie. Chen Xiang spread out his hands and said, I have left the 9 Heaven World for a long time. When I left the 9 Heaven World, its power was rather weak, but with how fast the 9 Heaven World has grown, the cultivators above must have also improved by leaps and bounds. So I'm not sure about the specifics. At that time, Huang Jintian said that he had calculated out a great matter which was related to him. This great matter was related to the future operations of the world, and his comrades were also related to Chen Xiang. Huang Jintian's heaven extended method had always been calculated correctly, and at that time, Huang Jintian said that something big had happened during the large compet. 1 Tian. Right now, there was still a lot of time until the large compet. 1 Tian, and there was still about a month or so left. In other words, there was still one more important matter that was about to happen when the various great powers of Super God realm were holding the large compet. 1 Tian. I came to find you guys to say this because I want to let you guys prepare yourselves, because I don't know when 9 Heaven World will swallow this place up. If it is swallowed, then you will be in danger. Mu Chen said. Feng Yujie and Chen Xiang nodded. They had received the news in advance, and were prepared for it. Although they were weak, they would not sit still and wait for death. Bingyan, we're going back. Feng Yujie walked to Shui Bingyan's side and lightly patted her shoulder. Shui Bingyan had just been watching the flowers and chasing after the turflies and birds. Even though she had heard the conversation, she did not care. Feng Yujie held on to Shui Bingyan's delicate hand, worried that she would be discovered by Mu Chen and Xiao Chengel when she broke through the barrier. It was only noon when they returned to the Supreme Divine Palace. They had originally planned to take a walk in the Heroes Gathering Divine City, but after knowing about the matters there, they were no longer in the mood. Don't worry about Qilian and the others. If 9 Heaven World and God's realm are fused together, little Jiu will definitely bring them to my previous dragon vein. That place is the safest place, little Jiu will know how to enter. Feng Yujie said. The dragon vein that Feng Yujie was talking about was inside that divine tomb, which was also the birthplace of Chen Xiang. His father and the rest of his clansmen were all there to guard the tomb. I wonder what will happen then. My master told me that during the start of the large compet, 1 Tian, something big will happen. Chen Xiang told Feng Yujie about Huang Jintian's situation. Your master is incredible indeed, to have such a background. If he can get through the Great Tribulation, not only can he recover his memories, he might even be able to recover his strength back then. I just don't know when he will begin to experience the Great Tribulation. Feng Yujie said, and Chi I wonder how he is doing now. When she mentioned Chi Yuer suddenly became agitated, and this guy I almost forgot. He was one of the Prince Divine Lions back then, and had died in that great battle. If he had not died at that time, he would have been the Lion King of the Divine Lion race, and might have become the new Lion King. Now that he is in the Lion Emperor's tomb, if he is able to obtain the inheritance of the Lion Emperor, it is very likely that he is the new Emperor of the Divine Lion race. Feng Yujie said, It's best if everything goes smoothly, but we have to prepare for the worst. If something really happens, and the 9God's nation really wants to take action against us, we'll escape. The 9God's nation has spoken the truth. There is nowhere for us to run to. You airside. No, we can escape to the 9 Heaven Devil Palace. There will be the 9-fold SPAC. As long as we hide there, we will be safe for the time being. Feng Yujie laughed. Of course, this is the worst-case scenario. We can't enter that place without a choice. If not, we won't know when we'll be able to leave. The 9 mighty celestial kings had entered, but were still unable to leave. Naturally, they were the safest ones inside, making others feel as though they had died long ago. The God's realm is in a mess now. The divine prison was breached, and now that the 9 Heaven World has fused together, you can imagine how terrifying that place is. Feng Yujie shook his head and sighed. I hope that Qilian and the others can avoid these disputes. Shui Bingyan suddenly said, If we don't have anywhere to go, we can go to the place where I was born. That place should be very safe. As long as I bring you in, nothing will happen. I have an ice palace under that ocean, and it's very beautiful, but it's not fun at all, and it's also very boring. The gathering place of the Tao spirits was indeed an extremely terrifying place. The powerful subordinates of the Prince Divine Lions were all killed by Shui Bingyan in one move. Not long after Chen Xiang and his group returned, Luo Tianjun arrived. "Brat," teacher told me, "did you have any conflicts with Prince Divine Lions?" Luo Tianjun and Old Iron C.O.C. K came together with a serious expression. "What's wrong?" Chen Xiang was a little surprised. "The Prince Divine Lions is here. He asked for you by name, saying that one of his silver lion died, and it might be related to you. He wanted to ask you about it." The Old Iron C.O.C.K said. The Old Iron C.O.C. K knew that Chen Xiang had been to the Beast Divine Palace before. When Chen Xiang had accepted that mission, it could be said that he had friends in the Beast Divine Palace, and that the friend was Yuer. So when Prince Divine Lions said that the death of the Silver Lion was related to Chen Xiang, he secretly felt that it was Chen Xiang who did it. "It has nothing to do with me, I don't want to see him. To tell you the truth, when Prince Divine Lion sent his Silver Lion to kill me, I escaped with my life, but I don't know what happened to him afterwards. Right, he should be following me into the place that's looking for Dao Heart Stone. Forget about the Silver Lion, even Elder Zhu almost died inside, so I am not surprised that it died." Chen Xiang spread out his hands. Although he said this, it made Old Iron C.O.C. K and Luo Tianjun feel even more that he felt the same way. Luo Tianjun subconsciously looked at Shui Bingyan. He had experienced Shui Bingyan's power before. Now he was certain that the death of that Silver Lion was related to Chen Xiang. "This Prince Divine Lions is going too far, they actually sent people to kill you. Since that's the case, we can't be nice to him either." Old Iron C.O.C. K wants to leave, but he actually wants to kill this brat. Luo Tianjun was truly angry. Right now, Chen Xiang just could not beat Prince Divine Lions, otherwise, he would have gone to Prince Divine Lions long ago to settle the score with him, and would want to capture him for no reason at all. Now that the Prince Divine Lions had come to the Supreme Divine Palace, with Luo Tianjun and the Old Iron Cock supporting him from behind, Chen Xiang was very touched. Neither of them were afraid because of the powerful backgrounds of the Prince Divine Lions. Right now, Chen Xiang just could not beat Prince Divine Lions, otherwise, he would have gone to Prince Divine Lions long ago to settle the score with him, and would want to capture him for no reason at all. Now that the Prince Divine Lions had come to the Supreme Divine Palace, with Luo Tianjun and the Old Iron C.O.C. K supporting him from behind, Chen Xiang was very touched. Neither of them were afraid because of the powerful backgrounds of the Prince Divine Lions. "Let's go." Luo Tianjun rolled up his sleeves and walked out of Supreme Divine Palace. The Old Iron C.O.C. K laughed and followed behind Luo Tianjun. The two of them did not seem to be afraid of the Prince Divine Lions at all. "Let's go take a look as well." Feng Yujie pulled Shui Bingyan and followed closely. She was worried that something big would happen. Chen Xiang naturally did not fear him, as he hated the Prince Divine Lions very much in his heart. He had injured Chi Plus and killed the super old fire beast, making him furious just thinking about it. Yu Er snorted lightly. "When the time comes, I will not appear anymore. I also have a grudge with this guy. This Bastard thinks he is invincible in Beast Divine Palace. He hates me whenever he sees me." Walking out of the Supreme Divine Palace, Chen Xiang followed Luo Tianjun and the others to the front of a big house. When they arrived, Chen Xiang and the others immediately felt a wave of pressure. Because at this moment Luo Tianjun and Old Iron C.O.C. K were filled with anger and did not conceal their aura in the slightest. After Prince Divine Lions sensed what was inside, he also released his royal might in response. The newly built Heroes Gathering Divine City already had a few people who came from the big powers. At this moment, everyone could feel that there were 3 opposing auras at this place, which caused the clouds in the sky to churn violently. creating bursts of lightning bolts. Are they going to fight? Shui Bingyan looked at the spectacular sight in the sky innocently, as she felt the three strong presences colliding with her, but she was not surprised by it. No, I'm just trying to reason with him, Feng Yujie said. It was impossible for them to fight in here, even if Luo Tianjun and Old Iron C. K wanted to, the two palace masters would come out and stop them. What are you doing? You are all elders of the Supreme Divine Palace. Is this how you treat guests? Prince Divine Lions was a little angry, and his tone became extremely cold. Didn't you say that you were looking for Chen Xiang? Luo Tianjuan's voice was also filled with anger. Prince Divine Lions came out. Followed behind him were two elderly men in gray whose eyes were like torches. Just looking at Chen Xiang made them feel an inexplicable sense of fear. Prince Divine Lions was dressed in a golden cape and armor, and on his face was a mask carved with a golden lion's head. He was very tall, and his tall and stu. Dy body did not match with his gentle voice. Did you kill my silver lion? When Prince Divine Lions came out, he immediately asked Chen Xiang. He had seen Chen Xiang before, so he recognized him as well. Just as Chen Xiang wanted to answer, Luo Tianjun spoke coldly. He was the one who killed them, what can you do? Seeing how rude Luo Tianjun was, the eyes of the gray-robed elder behind Prince Divine Lions suddenly turned red, and released a bloody light. He said, Surnamed Luo, be a bit courteous to the young master, don't think that this is your territory, and we will allow you to humiliate us. Dog slave, there's no place for you to interrupt. Old Iron K let out a loud shout, and the thunderous shockwave exploded in the sky, shaking the heavens and the earth. The thick clouds that were churning in the air earlier were actually completely shaken to the point that they disappeared. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie were both shocked. This old Iron K normally looked like a bad old man, but he didn't expect that he would be so terrifying when he went berserk. If he shouted at a mountain earlier, maybe even that mountain would be shattered. The Prince Divine Lions had already sensed that something was amiss. Not only were Luo Tianjun and the old Iron K very famous in the Supreme Divine Palace, even the other powers of the Super God realm knew a little about them. What's going on? Mu Chen came, Xiao Chang'e also came. The commotion just now, how could it not have alarmed them? Prince Divine Lions sent his silver lion to kill Chen Xiang. Now that the silver lion is dead, he still wants to find trouble with Chen Xiang. Palace chief, tell me, is this guy too arrogant? Their underlings have been hunted down and killed, yet they still dare to come to our doorstep and demand an explanation. Luo Tianjun said indignantly. The Prince Divine Lions wanted to kill Chen Xiang. This caused Mu Chen to frown. He looked at the Prince Divine Lions and asked with an ice-cold voice, Is that true? I did not send the silver lion to kill him. I only wanted to capture him and bring him back. But if he resists, it's very possible that the silver lion will kill him, so I have to ask him. Prince Divine Lions's tone was indifferent, and actually did not feel any fear at all. It was just as Yue had said, she seemed to be unrivaled in the world. The old Iron K sneered. What this guy means is, if he sends his men to capture Chen Xiang must not resist. Who would not resist when they are caught? Mu Chen said, Please explain why you want to capture Chen Xiang. Prince Divine Lions immediately replied, Because he saved an enemy who wanted to kill me, he is my enemy. Chen Xiang frowned. You killed Chi S brother for no reason, so it's natural for Chi S to seek you out for revenge. Is my big brother and my friend, so what if I save him? It doesn't matter, you saved him as my enemy, so of course I can catch you. The Prince Divine Lion sneered. Since you are my enemy, then I can naturally kill the silver lion you sent out. Chen Xiang also laughed coldly. I was the one who killed that stupid lion of yours. You should still have a silver lion. If you don't have one by your side now, you're probably done for too. Xiao Chang'e frowned. No, Chen Xiang's current strength is not sufficient to kill that silver lion. I have seen that silver lion before. It should be at the level of a supreme divine beast, and is not something Chen Xiang can kill. Of course, it was not Chen Xiang who killed him, it was Shui Bingyan who killed him. Just now, Feng Yujie had already sent a sound transmission to Shui Bingyan, telling her to be quiet. Luo Tianjun said, "No matter who killed him, it doesn't matter what, this guy sent the silver lion to capture Chen Xiang. He almost caused Chen Xiang to lose his life. How can we just let him go like this?" Prince Divine Lions laughed coldly. "That's right, when he saved my enemy back then, I wanted to kill him. The reason I had the silver lion catch him and bring him back was so that I could torture him to death bit by bit. If I want to kill him now, what can you do to me?" Luo Tianjun laughed, and as he laughed, a black rod suddenly appeared in his hand, carrying an extremely terrifying black fiendish aura. "Wait!" Mu Chen grabbed the long rod and shouted. Seeing that Luo Tianjun was stopped, the Prince Divine Lion sneered. "You are indeed very strong, but you can't do anything to me. Look, you can't do anything to me right now. And you are currently my enemy as well, so it would be best for you not to leave your Supreme Divine Palace in the future." Luo Tianjun looked like Mu Chen. Mu Chen was the Hall Master and was also very strong. Old Iron Sea, O.C. K was extremely furious. Even Xiao Chang'e frowned at the side, because this Prince Divine Lions was simply too arrogant. It would be fine if Mu Chen wasn't here, but with Mu Chen here. He even said that he wanted to kill Luo Tianjun in front of the Hall Master of this Supreme Divine Palace. Prince Divine Lions laughed. "Now do you know how powerful I am? You humans are truly weak in our eyes. I cannot defeat you, but the Divine Lion race behind me can raise this place to the ground at any time, and let this place become a river of blood." Prince Divine Lions laughed. "Now do you know how powerful I am? You humans are truly weak in our eyes. I cannot defeat you, but the Divine Lion race behind me can raise this place to the ground at any time, and let this place become a river of blood." Mu Chen suddenly sighed and said indifferently, "Scram, or do you want me to throw you out?" Prince Divine Lions was stunned. When Mu Chen said that, he was obviously angry. "Our Supreme Divine Palace is very hospitable, but we don't welcome people like you. Before you scram, you have to be warned that you better not step into the sovereign G.O.D. realm in the future. Otherwise, even if your father Lion King appears, I won't forgive you." Mu Chen said calmly, but his words were laced with killing intent and anger. "Just you wait." Prince Divine Lions took a deep breath. He never thought that Mu Chen would be so stubborn to say such words to him, which made him very angry. The Prince Divine Lions quickly left with his large group and left the heroes gathering Divine City dejectedly. "Sorry for causing you all so much trouble." Chen Xiang sighed. "Oh right, the Chi plus you mentioned just now, that name sounds a little familiar." Mu Chen pondered as he thought back to the matters concerning this name. Xiao Chang'e said, "The first prince of the 7 sons of the old Divine Lion King died in that battle. He was resurrected in the 9-heaven world and reborn in the 9-heaven world. I have now awakened the memories of the past." Mu Chen exclaimed, if he had the strength he used to back then, he might even be able to take back the current throne of the Divine Lion King. Who was the brother killed by the Prince Divine Lions? Qi Yan, the youngest of the 7 princes of Divine Lion race, died together with Qi Hi back then. Now that he's been killed by the Prince Divine Lions, Qi Yan is that Prince Divine Lions' blood-related uncle, TSK? Yuer said. Back then, rankers like Qi Hi and Qi Yan were all wars. Hi pers of Mu Chen and the others. When they were very young, they had already heard about the achievements of these strong warriors. Qi Yan was actually killed, and by such a fellow at that. Ibidong came here with a face full of disbelief. Ibidong knew a lot of things. He had known Huang Jintian for a long time. It seemed like he understood Qi Yen and Qi S situation very well. The divine soul is still there, we can still revive. But only 9 divine kings can do such a thing. Chen Xiang sighed. What happened to the current divine lion king? The little bastard that was born was actually so arrogant. Mu Chen said to Ibidong, "Gather the elders, we might have to deal with the assault of the divine lion race. Although we may not come, we have to be prepared. We are not afraid of the divine lion race." Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie did not return to the Supreme Divine Palace. They went to the shop. The shop was almost ready. The 3 Gu brothers had called for many people to help. They were all from the alchemist and had a wide network of people. They could quickly find people. The 5th floor was a resting place, and there were many rooms here. The hall that Chen Xiang, Feng Yujie and the others were in was the largest and most comfortable. A lot of things have happened today. Chen Xiang sipped on Shui Bingyan's iced tea and looked out the window at the empty street. There were still not many people. We will be selling the regeneration Dan tomorrow. I hope nothing bad will happen to it. Feng Yujie laughed lightly and said to Chen Xiang, "Don't think too much into it. Anyway, after this compet 1. Tian, we might have to leave the Supreme Divine Palace too." Yue replied, "The Prince Divine Lions has been bullied. He will definitely come back for revenge. I wonder if his father, the Lion King, will help him take revenge. Even if he doesn't help on the surface, he will at least support him a little." "Is it convenient to come in now?" Oldest Gu knocked on the door. "Of course it's convenient," Chen Xiang said. Oldest Gu walked into the hall and sat down. He picked up a cup of iced tea, took a sip, and said, "I have just received news that the 2 brats here will be selling 50 regeneration Dan tomorrow, with 1,500,000 each. How many are you planning to sell tomorrow? How much is the price?" "Yes, we'll help you advertise it tonight. 1 million Shin yuan stone per pellet, for a total of 100 pellets." Feng Yujie said, "There aren't many people here tonight, right? Tonight, the most people that have come, moreover, they are all a group with wealth and power, don't you think, to be able to be arranged to be in the first batch to enter the transmission array, they must all have some background." The oldest Gu said. Xiao was waiting at the transmission array, and he was very sure that the purple smoke divine mountain robbers would come tonight. Chen Xiang was curious previously about the item. 1. Tie of the person behind Xiao, to actually be able to make Xiao not afraid of the purple smoke divine mountain, and want to kill bandits in the transmission array. Only the old Iron Sea, OCK or Luo Tianjun knew about this. The 3 Gu brothers had already left the shop, and they had not started promoting it yet. They would only start when the transmission array officially opened and a large number of disciples from other forces would come. There's still a little time right now. From now until tomorrow morning, I should still be able to refine 1 or 2 batches of regeneration Dan. Chen Xiang said, because he was worried that they would not have enough of it by then, and that they would even have some regeneration Dan's ingredient. Feng Yujie nodded. "Then I'll have to trouble you first." Chen Xiang took the regeneration Dan's medicinal ingredients from Feng Yujie's hands and entered the secret room to refine pills. He no longer planned to watch Xiao slaughter the bandits from the purple smoke divine mountain in the plaza. Today, he had already brought a lot of trouble to the Supreme Divine Palace. Just as the sky was about to turn dark, a commotion suddenly came from outside. After Feng Yujie heard it, he hastily opened the window and looked outside. It came from the plaza. The disciples of the other forces should have arrived by now. Yue said, "We're also preparing to watch a good show. Should we go and take a look?" Feng Yujie had already known earlier that Xiao was going to kill people there, so she shook her head. Yue immediately understood that if the two of them were to go, they would have to bring Shui Bingyan along as well. Although Shui Bingyan had also killed people before, he shouldn't let her see too many of those scenes. This aura. It's very familiar. Feng Yujie frowned as he looked in another direction. He was not at the location of the plaza. I sensed it too. Did they let it out on purpose? Yue replied, two powerful divine beasts. It's the vermilion bird and the white tiger. Feng Yujie said in surprise. They have also come to Super God realm and have become so powerful. The second of the four protectors of the all-beast divine lord back then. Yue was also very surprised. After their rebirth, they actually grew so fast. Although the white tiger and vermilion bird were resurrected in 9 divine kings, Feng Yujie wasn't very familiar with them before. Although the white tiger and vermilion bird were resurrected in 9 divine kings, Feng Yujie wasn't very familiar with them before. Feng Yujie said, let's go find the white tiger and vermilion bird first. The two are so powerful now, they should have already awakened their memories. Hi+ needs help right now, let's see if they can help. Yue nodded her head. Right now, we can only sense that their auras are very strong, but we don't know their actual strength. If they had already become 2 gods, it would have been enough for Hi+ to do a lot of things for him. The vermilion bird and white tiger did not retract their auras. Their intention in doing so was obviously to let know that they had come to this city. Presumably, they already knew that Chen Xiang was in Supreme Divine Palace. Feng Yujie quickly met the white tiger and vermilion bird. The white tiger and the vermilion bird walked side by side on the street. The white tiger wore white clothes, and judging by his ordinary appearance, he had a beautiful woman in a dress by his side. Many people couldn't help but take a few glances at him. When they saw Feng Yujie, they immediately welcomed him with a smile. Greetings, seniors. Feng Yujie immediately bowed. If both the white tiger and vermilion bird had awakened their memories, then they were indeed Feng Yujie's seniors. Greetings, seniors. When Shui Bingyan saw Feng Yujie giving his respects, she also greeted the white tiger politely. There's no need to be so polite. The vermilion bird smiled faintly, then looked at Shui Bingyan and asked, where is Chen Xiang? He should be here, right? Who is this beautiful little girl? I don't think I've seen it before. I am Shui Bingyan. Elder brother Shen is concocting pills. Shui Bingyan said with a pure and beautiful smile. Hearing Shui Bingyan call Chen Xiang that, the vermilion bird and the white tiger looked at each other, obviously thinking that Shui Bingyan had that sort of relations. Hi+P with him. When did you come to the Super God realm? Feng Yujie was very curious about this, because the vermilion bird and the white tiger went to the Gods realm very early in the morning, but he did not hear any news about them. The white tiger laughed. Not long after we went to Gods realm, we found a ruin of a beast divine palace. We came here from there, and that's why we have been here for quite a few years. In order to make it easier to talk, Feng Yujie brought them to the 5th floor of the shop and served them iced tea Shui Bingyan had made. The white tiger looked at its surroundings and sensed a bit of fire in a secret room. It knew that Chen Xiang was concocting pills there, so it smiled and said, Chen Xiang has restrained himself quite a bit since he came to Super God realm. Feng Yujie scoffed. Of course not. He just angered the Prince Divine Lions not too long ago, Aya. The vermilion bird and the white tiger both knew that Feng Yujie was the 9 heavens Goddess, and now they could also see that Feng Yujie and Chen Xiang seemed to have a very close relations. Hi+P, which made them very surprised. We heard about this too. I am very clear about the Prince Divine Lions' actions inside the Beast Divine Palace. We came here because we just found out that the Prince Divine Lions and Chen Xiang are at stake. I never thought that Chen Xiang would actually be able to refine pills so peacefully, as if nothing happened. The white tiger shook its head with a smile. Yuer stuck her head out and looked at the white tiger and vermilion bird. These two legendary divine beasts were things she had never seen with her own eyes before. Does this kitten belong to the star-moon divine race? Why does it look so familiar? When the vermilion bird saw Yuer's cute little head, it wanted to reach out to hug her. However, Yuer suddenly flashed and appeared from her backpack. She flapped her wings and floated in the air. The white tiger frowned. They are from the star and crescent beast race. Starry sky white tiger race also have some connections with them. This kitten does look familiar. Could it be that guy? Yuer asked, Do you recognize me? Impossible. When I was born, it was a long time after your era. Hearing Yuer's voice, the white tiger and the vermilion bird looked at each other, as if they were even more certain of this. Samsara sacrifice. You are the sacrifice that Samsara sacrifice needs. The reason why you don't recognize us is because you have already been reborn after you became a sacrifice. A large amount of your memories will be erased. From the looks of it, you should have already been a sacrifice many times. Yuer was shocked. What Samsara sacrifice? I've never heard of it. You mean I've died many times? Previously, Zhu Xiangyuan was very sure that Yuer had saved him, but Yuer didn't. The vermilion bird nodded. Not many people know about the Samsara sacrifice. We heard the great emperor say that this is a ceremony unique to the star-moon divine race. Yuer shook her head. I am a sacrifice. Why would they let me run all over the place? And why did they just erase part of my memory, instead of erasing it all? Yuer found it hard to believe her own ident. One time, she was actually a sacrifice, and had a very high position within the star-moon divine race. No one had ever mentioned such a thing to her before. No, I have parents, even though I've never seen them before. Yuer said again. The star-moon divine race lied to you because they used you as an offering to the moon and stars, allowing them to obtain great power. Legend has it that it was through you that the star-moon beast emperor was constantly reborn and given birth. The white tiger sighed. It felt very sympathetic towards Yuer because she only existed to make others stronger. Because the samsara sacrifice can only sacrifice you once in a while, when they need you, they will naturally bring you back. They are worried that it will affect your growth, so they will keep a lot of memories that will allow you to survive and even do some TRIMMING. And the memories that make you strong will be erased. The vermilion bird replied, and it will be very difficult for you to grow up. If it's only the star-moon divine race that wants you to grow up to become a sacrificial offering, they will have to pay a great price to do so. Thus, under normal circumstances, they will allow you to grow up by yourself. Now, Chen Xiang understood why Yuer's senses were of the highest level when it came to escaping, and was able to ensure that she would not die even when encountering danger. In order to make her more viable, the star-moon divine race had injected her with many memories, but only allowed her to become stronger. Senior White Tiger, Senior Suzaku. When Chen Xiang came out from the secret room, although the white tiger and vermilion bird had restrained their auras, Chen Xiang was still able to sense them. Thus, he used a secret technique to maintain the pill furnace in its current state. The white tiger and vermilion bird nodded at him. How much do the two seniors understand about samsara sacrifice? Why would they gain so much power after killing Yuer? Chen Xiang asked, because this matter was related to Yuer, which was why he immediately ran out. The matters concerning the samsara sacrifice must have been kept a secret, so Yuer herself didn't know either. Chen Xiang felt that since he was acquainted with Yuer and they were extremely good friends, he definitely could not let Yuer become a sacrifice once again. The matters concerning the samsara sacrifice must have been kept a secret, so Yuer herself didn't know either. Chen Xiang felt that since he was acquainted with Yuer and they were extremely good friends, he definitely could not let Yuer become a sacrifice once again. The white tiger said, "This is because when the 10,000 Beast Emperor told us the origin of the divine beast, I asked him about the white tiger, which is why he told us some of the secrets of the star-moon divine race. At that time, only our 4 divine beasts were present. Uer flew over to the vermilion bird and hugged her in its arms. The vermilion bird gently stroked the back of her head. The white tiger continued to speak. This matter is something that even many star and crescent beasts do not know, and should only be known at the level of an elder of the star-moon divine race. Currently, there should be 4 elders of the star-moon divine race, and 5 clan chiefs. All of them can obtain a huge promotion from the samsara sacrifice. Uer nodded her head. All this while, there have been many powerful star and crescent beasts that had wanted to undergo the Elder's trial to obtain the Elder's qualification, but they had all been stopped. I heard from some of the older star and crescent beasts that our star-moon divine race should have 9 elders and a chief. However, ever since Divine Lord died, it has become 5, and a star-moon beast king died before. The vermilion bird said, "It's because after offering you as a sacrifice, they become less proficient and gain more benefits, which is why they stop the other star and crescent beast from going through the Elder's trial. Because once they pass the Elder's trial, they will also know the secrets of the samsara sacrifice." Uer angrily said, "Now I understand why those people that didn't undergo the Elder's trial could obtain the same kind of authority as the Elders. It is said that the Elder's trial is extremely difficult, and it is a narrow escape from death. Those old fellows all tried to persuade us like this, and then they conducted a simple assessment of some of the stronger people who wanted to undergo the Elder's trial, giving the person who said the test a great deal of authority." Feng Yujie was puzzled. What secrets does Uer possess? Why was it that if he made her into a sacrifice those guys would get a huge boost? The star-moon divine race was naturally nurtured by the great way of the Buddha. It had a terrifying innate ability to easily absorb the endless and powerful energy of the stars and moon to cultivate in. And now there is this so-called samsara sacrifice. It is clear that this samsara sacrifice is also a power that is naturally born from the Great Way, but it was definitely not born to raise the strength of other clan members. The white tiger nodded. I was puzzled at first, but then the emperor told us. Uer has a very strange phenomenon, which is that after she dies, the moon and stars will release a very terrifying and strange power, and at this time, as long as Uer's body is burned to ashes, the people at the side will be able to absorb this power, and after a day, they will be completely absorbed, and after absorbing it, their powers will increase greatly. Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie immediately understood. That was the resurrection power that the stars and moon had given to Uer, but after ingeniously using it, at the place where Uer died, she could absorb the power that should have belonged to her. How many times have these bastards killed me? Uer was extremely angry. The vermilion bird quickly comforted her. The white tiger said, "The great emperor said that even if you don't die, during that time, you will be able to absorb the power of the stars and moon. In other words, after all these years, if you have not been treated as a sacrifice, then your strength is truly terrifying." The vermilion bird gently caressed Uer's back and said, "The emperor wants you to transform into your human form after that baptism. You have never absorbed the power of the stars and moon, so you should never have taken human form. Of course, if you were to absorb it, you would definitely become very powerful, and wouldn't need to become a sacrifice." Chen Xiang said, "I will not let Uer become a sacrifice again. I feel like Uer's memories weren't completely erased. She went to a place before and even used a lot of power to save a person. Maybe she was able to awaken part of her memories there, but they were all erased after they became offerings." The white tiger nodded. "After we were reborn, it took us a long time to fully awaken our memories." The vermilion bird let go of Uer and flew to Shuaibingyan's side. Seeing Uer's sorrowful expression, the vermilion bird sighed lightly. When the time comes for samsara sacrifice, they will grab onto Uer and kill her. When the power of the stars and moon descends, they will hide Yuer and absorb the power of the moon and stars. In the past 99 to 81 years, Yuer will revive on her own, and her divine soul and body will be reborn. It is also at this time that they start to tamper with Yuer's memories regarding divine soul. Qin Xiang said, "How did All Beast's Divine Lord know about this? Did he tell you not to talk about it when he told you?" The white tiger shook its head. "Because at that time, the Emperor told us many things, and not long after, a great war broke out. We all died, and the entire beast race suffered great destruction, so we didn't have the time to speak of this matter." The vermilion bird laughed. "Divine Lord Starmoon died in this battle as well. He let you die so many times to become a divine lord, but in the end you still died. This bastard to think that I wars I plus ped him so much before. This is all because of those old fellows injecting memories into me. I have to get out of this situation. I want to recover the memories that I lost before. I want to know what kind of bad memories they gave me." Yuer's voice was filled with anger. The white tiger nodded. "Since you already know that you are a sacrifice, then you are prepared. However, it may not be good for you to recover all the memories you have lost, because your memories must contain the pain before your death." Yuer resolutely said, "I'm not afraid. If I can recover my memories, then it will allow me to experience many deaths at once. This is a rare cultivation experience for me, and I must find it. I must know that those bastards have used me to cultivate. Bingyan, I'm leaving." Yuer looked at Shui Bingyan and said reluctantly, "I have something important to do. I know you must come back." Shui Bingyan had just been quietly listening to them, and she had also been thinking about many things. It was just that she did not say it out loud. "Qin Xiang, you have to take good care of my icy face." Yuer also didn't know why, but at this moment, when she was reluctant to part with Shui Bingyan, their relations Hi+P was indeed very good. "Leave the matter of taking care of Bingyan to me. I hope that when you come back, you will become a beautiful young lady." Feng Yujie smiled and rubbed her head. Yuer said to the white tiger and the vermilion bird, "Thank you very much for telling me these things, otherwise I would have been a sacrifice forever. The Emperor was very angry when he talked about you, and he was also very sympathetic towards your plight. However, due to the power of the Starmoon Divine Lord and the fact that the beast race had met with a foreign enemy at that time, he did not break the news. And he also thinks that if you weren't used like that, you would also be an expert from our beast race, and would be able to better protect our beast race." Yuer left. She didn't know how she could accomplish what she wanted to do, but she already had a plan. Yuer left. She didn't know how she could accomplish what she wanted to do, but she already had a plan. "What will she do?" Feng Yujie asked as he looked at Qin Xiang. Qin Xiang and Yuer had only interacted with each other for the longest period of time. Qin Xiang looked out of the window and watched Yuer disappear before letting out a long sigh. "Xingyue, I think she is a whole star connected to Xingyue, and that she, Xingyue, is born with everything that she is." Although her memories had already been erased by those old bastards from her divine soul, the stars and moon in the sky would definitely be kept for her. Only she herself would know what to do. Shui Bingyan looked into the sky with melancholy. "Yuer will definitely be all right. I want to protect her." Qin Xiang patted her head and laughed. "Bingyan, you are becoming stronger every day. I'm afraid you don't even know yet, right?" Shui Bingyan nodded as he memorized it. The white tiger laughed. "Qin Xiang, I didn't think that you would become so mature after not seeing you for so long. But you still like to cause trouble." Qin Xiang chuckled. "I'm only going to do what I think is right." "Senior White Tiger, you still don't know why I'm opposing Prince Divine Lions, right?" He probably won't reveal this himself either. "Indeed, I don't know if you have such terrifying potential or not. But right now is not the time to talk to Prince Divine Lions, the White Tiger said. He killed Qi Yen. After Qi Hi Plus found out about it, he went to find him. Qi Hi Plus almost saved me. He sent Silver Lion to capture me. The Vermilion Bird hastily patted his shoulder to make him suppress the fury in his heart. Otherwise, it would create quite a sensation here. Qi Yen has not completely died. The White Tiger took a deep breath and interrupted Chen Xiang. Tell me the details of this matter. After a while, both the White Tiger and the Vermilion Bird had a clear understanding of this matter, including the fact that Prince Divine Lions was chased away by the palace chief Mu Chen while he was still in Heroes Gathering Divine City. I'll go find the Hall Master. When the Prince Divine Lions comes, don't ever make a move. I must kill this bastard with my own hands. The White Tiger looked at the Vermilion Bird and nodded. It was obvious that he was prepared to engage in an all-out battle. And the Vermilion Bird also supported him very much. Chen Xiang sighed. My current strength is limited, at that time I won't be able to help. The White Tiger's hand rested on Chen Xiang's shoulder. It's enough for you to save Qi Hi Plus. Feng Yujie asked, Senior White Tiger, your relations. Hi plus P with Qi Hi plus seems to be extraordinary. 9 divine kings allowed us to be reborn. Qi Hi plus is my disciple. Qi Yen is also someone that I watched grow up, and in the ancient G.O.D. era, they were my sworn brothers. I'm their big brother. White Tiger clenched his fists tightly. Several times, he almost couldn't control his emotions and spilled his blood here. However, after being pacified by the Vermilion Bird, he was still able to calm down. The sky was completely dark. Waves of spatial fluctuations came from the transmission array. Many people were being sent over. Chen Xiang stood by the window and looked towards the brightly lit transmitting square. I'll go over and take a look, Chen Xiang said. I'm worried that Xiao won't be able to handle it. I won't go. I'll stay here with Bingyan. Feng Yujie said. The White Tiger had already calmed down a lot. He and the Vermilion Bird followed Chen Xiang and quickly headed towards the transmitting square. Back then, Xiao's name was Evil Emperor. I never thought that he would still be alive and come here. Although he cultivates ludicrous skills and power, he and Qi Hi Plus are good friends. Xiao was a human, and not like the White Tiger and the other beasts of the ancient G.O.D's era who could awaken their memories and power. The current Xiao was not as strong as them either. The square was extremely lively. Everything was clearly watching the commotion. As soon as Chen Xiang arrived, he saw Xiao Chou standing in the balcony of an upper floor, looking at the plaza with great interest. Xiao Chou was Zhu Xiangyuan's grandson-in-law, and also a good seedling of the Herculean God tribe. Naturally, his status was not ordinary. Let's go there. Chen Xiang pointed to the 5th floor and immediately entered it. He said that he wanted to find the person at Xiao Chou's door and let him in. Brat, you've enjoyed it, haven't you? Chen Xiang patted his bald head and laughed. Xiao Chou saw that there were 2 other people who had come with Chen Xiang. When he saw the 2 familiar faces, he was slightly shocked and immediately shouted, Senior White Tiger, Senior Vermilion Bird. Back then, when Xiao Chou was in dragon subduing school, he had met the White Tiger and Vermilion Bird. Good brat, you've become quite powerful. What are you watching for? The White Tiger said with a smile. That fellow called Xiao Sure is arrogant. He killed 4 disciples of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain with a single sword strike just now. Now, the elders of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain have already caught him but do not dare to kill him. It's strange that the elders of our Supreme Divine Palace still haven't come out. The elders of the Supreme Divine Palace were all gathered by Mu Chern for a meeting because the Prince Divine Lions had spoken some harsh words today, and they had to prepare. The elders are all in a meeting here. If it wasn't too big of a commotion, they probably wouldn't have noticed us going over quickly, right? In case Xiao got heavily injured. Furthermore, Xiao had already been sealed by the two elders and was unable to move. The elders of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain also did not dare to act rashly. After all, the difference in strength between the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain and the Supreme Divine Palace was too great. Chen Xiang immediately flew down from the tower and landed in the plaza. He shouted at the elder of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain, "On what grounds are you capturing him?" Looking at the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain elder, the memories he got from killing the purple-clothed bandit suddenly surfaced in his mind. It was this elder who had ordered the purple-clothed bandit to capture him. Even if this Purple Smoke Divine Mountain's elder knew that he was Chen Xiang, he also knew that he possessed the God murdering sword techniques and the heavenly alchemy. He told these few disciples who often robbed outside to pay more attention to Chen Xiang and to take him away whenever they met him. It's not like you haven't seen him kill the disciples of our Purple Smoke Divine Mountain yet. Don't think that your Supreme Divine Palace is so strong that you can kill him as you please. I only captured him to prevent him from escaping. Wait for the elders and hall masters of your Supreme Divine Palace to come to me and demand an explanation from them. When the elders saw Chen Xiang's face, he was secretly surprised. This was the person he had been looking for all this time, and now, he was right in front of him. Seeing the elder's shocked expression just now, Chen Xiang knew that he was recognized. "Are you from Purple Smoke Divine Mountain?" Chen Xiang asked. The elder wore a set of purple clothes and a purple cloak. "I am the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain's Bu Tianguang Guang, one of the elders of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain. What questions do you have?" Bu Tianguang shouted loudly, letting the surrounding people know that he had the qualifications to capture Xiao. Chen Xiang sneered. "If I were an elder of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain, I would definitely not admit it." He did not go on until this point, which made the crowd very curious to know why he said so. Bu Tianguang also curiously asked, "Why?" Chen Xiang looked at the corpses on the ground and said loudly, "Because the disciples of your Purple Smoke Divine Mountain are all extremely vicious bandits. This senior brother of mine and I were once plotted against and robbed in the God medicinal treasure land. He did not die at their hands, and you, as an elder of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain, are unable to discipline your own sect. Such a disciple, and you still have the nerve to say that you are an elder of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain? Nonsense. They're already dead. You still want to insult them? And this is inconclusive." Bu Tianguang looked around angrily before shouting, "Everyone, look at the disciples of the Supreme Divine Palace. They've gone too far." It was because the Supreme Divine Palace was the host of the compet. 1. Tian for the Super God realm, and the first group of disciples who came here were from the other factions. They were whispering to each other about this matter, because they did not know who was in the compet. 1 Tian. And when they saw that the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain was killed by the disciple elder with a face full of grief, they all thought that the Supreme Divine Palace was bullying others. Chen Xiang had long antic. 1p. aided this situation, so he was already prepared. He closed his eyes and took out a pearl. The originally exquisite bead suddenly lit up with a white light. After a while, Chen Xiang threw the bead into the air, and it exploded into a few images in mid-air. Those images depicted how the violet-clothed bandits had waited behind others to wait for them to find the divine medicine before they sacred it and headed away. Everyone's scalps went numb when they saw this, because the methods of these violet-clothed bandits were extremely cruel. In order to force others to hand over the storage magic treasure, he had used many methods to torture them. The crowd originally had the same opinion of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain, but after seeing all these people, they became even more furious. Some disciples from other forces recognized that it was their sect and were actually harmed. You definitely did this yourself. This is definitely not real. Bu Tianguang was still quibbling as he pointed at Chen Xiang and cursed. At this time, a man walked out and said, it definitely wasn't something he imagined himself because there were 3 disciples of my mysterious Heaven Lake that were killed, and that happened many years ago. Using a secret technique to create these images would be impossible to create these 3 disciples that are exactly the same as our mysterious Spirit Hail Lake. I'm just curious as to how he managed to do it. This seems to be some sort of memory. Chen Xiang pointed to the corpses of the bandits and said, I used a secret technique to retrieve their memories, so everyone can see his evil deeds. These memories were something that Chen Xiang had long ago obtained, and not something that he could extract now. Of course, he couldn't say that he had killed a purple-clothed bandit before because this reminded him of Zhan Xi's death. Xiao Chou also walked over and said to Bu Tianguang, hurry up and release them. These bandits have killed so many people before and they've even dared to kill so many of us. Now that we've killed them, it's normal for anyone else to do the same. The expression of the man from earlier from the mysterious sky lake turned ice-cold. As an elder, you probably know something, right? It seems like you purposely let these BASTARDS do this. Bu Tianguang could not stay calm after seeing everyone's indignation. He let out a long sigh and said, they were pretty good when they first entered the heavenly God lake. I did not expect them to become this angry. I trusted them so much. Chen Xiang did not believe him because he found out that the elder knew about them from the purple-clothed bandits' memories. Furthermore, he even obtained many benefits from them just so that he would not expose them. That's right. This elder knew about it long ago, and he even colluded with them. This is all from my memories. Chen Xiang took out another bead. Seeing this, Bu Tianguang became anxious because he had done a lot of business with these disciples. If Chen Xiang showed the scene of the BLOOD business transaction like before, he would be in deep trouble. Bu Tianguang realized that he had no other choice. He placed the already restrained Xiao in front of him and shouted, if you dare to mess with me, I'll kill him. Xiao said to Chen Xiang, Pui, kid, just kill this BASTARD and don't worry about me. Chen Xiang was still confident because the white tiger had already appeared behind him. Xiao also saw that the white tiger was very familiar with the white tiger because the white tiger was Chi S master and the white tiger was Chi S friend. The white tiger raised its hand and a streak of black smoke suddenly enveloped Xiao and Bu Tianguang. After the black smoke dispersed, Bu Tianguang could no longer move. Bu Tianguang was 2G delay. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to easily suppress Xiao. However, the moment the white tiger attacked, Bu Tianguang was no longer able to move. Most of the people present were young disciples. They were very curious about the white tiger's identity, and they could also tell that the white tiger was not a supreme divine palace elder. They had all heard of it and all of them had an elder's badge hung on their bodies. You are also an elder of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain, right? Chen Xiang looked at a purple-robed elder and asked. From start to finish, the old man had never said a single word. At this moment, his face was filled with fear. He was completely frightened by the white tiger. Does he have a problem? White Tiger asked. If he does, I'll control him on the way. No. Chen Xiang shook his head and looked at Xiao. He saw that he was not injured at all. This elder truly did not exist, but the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain S of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain S did. This was a Purple Smoke Divine Mountain that Chen Xiang did not mention, and they were also not good people either. They also had connections with the divine nations, which was why they wanted to catch him. There was also an old man in the sword hall who wanted to capture him and obtain the God murdering sword technique. Right now, he was also planning to tell Mu Chun or Yi Bidong and the others about this matter. An old man finally came to Supreme Divine Palace. Chun Xiang Pas. Said the matters here to him, then he brought Xiao, White Tiger and the others back to the shop. An old man finally came to Supreme Divine Palace. Chun Xiang Pas. Said the matters here to him, then he brought Xiao, White Tiger and the others back to the shop. On the way, they traveled very quickly. Because of what happened earlier, they had received a lot of attention, and they didn't want to receive that kind of attention. Entering the shop, just as Chun Xiang closed the door, Xiao, who had not spoken along the way, finally spoke. "Senior, I didn't think that you would also be here." The White Tiger laughed and patted his shoulder. "Not bad, looks like you came here very early. You should have left the 9 Heaven world very early to head to the God's realm and found the entrance that leads to this place afterwards." Chun Xiang had indeed been here for a long time, and his current power was considered strong as well. Chun Xiang guessed that below the Supreme God, Xiao's power could be considered to be at the highest level, and he seemed to have made a breakthrough after returning from the Divine Medicine Treasure. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to kill a few of the Purple Smoke Divine Mountain's Empyrean Gods in an instant. Xiao Chou did not follow him. He stayed behind and told the old man what had happened. "Thank you, Senior. I thought you went to the Beast God's mountain to look for Brother Qi after I parted with you that day." Chun Xiang said. They had already reached the 5th floor. Xiao said, "Originally, I was going to go, but right now, I simply cannot help Qi's HI+, so I decided to drop the matter." "Palace Mistress?" Chun Xiang said in shock. Xiao nodded his head. "Hallmaster took great care of me. Back then, I came to this Super God realm precisely because I met him. Even though I am a disciple of the Boxing Hall, I am not on the same side as the great Hall Master of the Boxing Hall. The Master of the Halls in Boxing Hall and the Master of the Sword Hall were all from the Divine Nations." Xiao seemed to know something, which was why he said such words. "Xiao, you have always cultivated evil spirit force, but you have never stepped into the evil Tao. This phenomenon is very strange." The vermilion bird said. The evil power that came from Xiao's body was extremely terrifying. Although he had not reached the strength of the true God, he was still able to frighten a few true Gods. Xiao laughed. "Evil energy is very strong, and cultivation is also very easy. However, it was very difficult to suppress them. If he did not suppress them properly, then he would fall into evil, and his soul would be decayed by evil. At that time, you will be manipulated by the evil energy. If the evil energy develops a consciousness, the moment your soul is devoured, you will become a demon. In order to control the powerful evil energy, while I am cultivating the evil energy, I am also cultivating my own heart. As long as I have a strong and upright heart, I will not be controlled by the evil energy, and I can also suppress the evil energy and use the powerful evil energy for my own purposes. And because of this, the evil force I control is much stronger than the other evil demons. Because my evil power has the power to be upright." The White Tiger laughed. "When two conflicting energies are combined, it will always produce unexpected power. However, this kind of cultivation method of yours is still rather dangerous. Once you lose control of it, you might not even have the chance to reincarnate." It was a rare chance to meet again. Chun Xiang and the others stayed in the hall and chatted until late into the night, while it became more and more lively outside. The transmission array of the transmitting square did not stop, and it continuously transferred disciples from other forces over. The White Tiger and Vermilion Bird stayed in the shop temporarily, while Xiao went back to the Supreme Divine Palace. Didn't have any rest tonight, so she was prepared to sleep early. Furthermore, when she slept, her body would release blue-colored clouds as usual, and Chen Xiang and Feng Yujie thought that she was probably growing up. Three Gu brothers came back in the middle of the night with a smile on his face. Just as we had guessed, many disciples already know about the regeneration Dan and they are here to buy it. But all they know is that there is only one store that sells regeneration Dan. At that time, they will even need to bid for it, only selling 10 crystals per day. The oldest Gu laughed. Then let's start selling 100 of them today, and then we'll sell the rest of the regeneration Dan at 50 a day. Chen Xiang said. After we sell all these hundreds of regeneration Dan, there shouldn't be much value in having all of them here. Moreover, they won't be able to sell them at a high price. 1,000,000 Shen Yuan stone pills was considered expensive, and many disciples could not take out that many Shen Yuan stones. For example, Xiao Chou. Although he possessed decent strength and position, he only possessed a few 100,000 Shen Yuan stone. Therefore, although there were many disciples gathered in Heroes Gathering Divine City, there were very few who could afford to buy regeneration Dan. Selling 100 pills on the first day, he might not be able to sell them all. Three Gu brothers went out overnight to spread the news, letting a majority of the people in the city know that 100 regeneration Dan were to be sold here tomorrow, and that the price was cheap too. In the morning, Shui Bingyan had already woken up. When she arrived at the first floor, she saw that there was a crystal cabinet. Inside the transparent crystal cabinet, there were many S.H.I. plus New York Regeneration Dan S that were placed neatly. It was extremely dazzling. Open the door. Feng Yujie laughed. Oldest Gu opened the door to the shop and there were already people outside. These people were dressed very decently and were quite powerful. They were all young people. These are all high-quality regeneration Dan. They are much better than the regeneration Dan in the first pill shop. You must know that the regeneration Dan of that fellow were all hidden for a period of time. Oldest Gu invited this group of people in and continued to speak. Everyone knows that even if the divine pellets are well preserved, if they are stored for too long a period of time, it will have a huge impact on the quality of the divine pellets as a whole. The shop was very spacious. There was only a crystal cabinet placed at a high place, so the people who came in could clearly see the S.H.I. plus Ning regeneration Dan inside it. Just from their appearance, one could tell that these regeneration Dan were of good quality. Looks like it's really not bad. Not only is the regeneration Dan in pill shop number 1 unable to be inspected, they are also selling it at a very high price. Originally, they were willing to sell them for 1,500,000 Shen Yuan stone, but because they knew that 100 of them would be sold here today, they lowered the price by 100,000. If the price is right, I'll buy 2 of them. An elegant man holding this fan said. When Three Gu brothers went out to advertise, he did not say what the price was, he only said that it was cheap. 1,000,000 Shen Yuan stone pills. When Feng Yujie said this, everyone was stunned, their faces showing expressions of disbelief. They were sure that they did not hear wrongly, so they rushed to say they wanted to buy as many as they could. For everyone to have a share, Feng Yujie allowed everyone to buy only 1 pellet. Soon, he sold 60 of them. Everyone, don't go yet. There's a problem with their regeneration Dan. Suddenly, a tall and dy figure appeared at the door. Upon hearing the voice, the 3 Gu brothers frowned. Oldest Gu said coldly, Hall Master, don't speak nonsense. I tell you, if you don't make that clear, I'll knead you into a ball and throw you out. The first Dan Hall was also very famous, and the Hall Master present was the same as Luo Tianjun. They were both extremely outstanding pill gods. This time, the Hall Master said that there was a problem with the regeneration Dan. This caused the people who just bought the regeneration Dan to feel a chill in their hearts, and they had already said that they were leaving. The first Dan Hall was also very famous, and the Hall Master present was the same as Luo Tianjun. They were both extremely outstanding pill gods. This time, the hall master said that there was a problem with the regeneration dan. This caused the people who just bought the regeneration dan to feel a chill in their hearts, and they had already said that they were leaving. Liang Gaoi, you have to be responsible for saying those words. When the oldest Gu saw the crowd shouting for him to return, he shouted loudly. Liang Gaoi was the hall master of the first Dan Hall, so his words were obviously very authoritative. Therefore, those people all suspected that there was a problem with the regeneration dan. You guys were able to create so many regeneration dan in such a short period of time, and their quality is also top-notch. This is definitely impossible, so there must be a problem. You must have done something to these regeneration dan, Liang Gaoi said with certainty. He thought that if something impossible happened, he would never accept it, which was why he said that. The oldest Gu panicked. This Liang Gaoi was a famous alchemist in the Super G.O.D realm. If he said something like that now, he was obviously here to ruin the compet. 1 Tian. Feng Yujie was actually very calm. She asked softly, Hall Master Liang, then how do you want us to prove that there are no problems with this regeneration dan? We are willing to take out 10 regeneration dan-s from the remaining 40 pellets to prove ourselves. Chen Xiang watched on the side. Feng Yujie was the same as LV Qilian. There was a very good way to deal with this kind of thing, but Oldest Gu and the others obviously preferred a more violent method. Oldest Gu had threatened Liang Gaoi verbally just now, but Liang Gaoi did not eat his method. I don't know how to prove it, but I just think that there's a problem with your regeneration dan. Liang Gaoi's words immediately made Oldest Gu jump over, and his fist smashed over. You're obviously here to cause trouble. After Oldest Gu's fist struck over, he was firmly grabbed by Liang Gaoi. Although Liang Gaoi was an old man, he was tall and strong. From his stature, Oldest Gu looked weak and weak. Old Liang, if you don't explain this matter to me clearly, I can guarantee that you will crawl back home today. Luo Tianjuan's voice sounded from outside the door. He was still the same as before. He was not afraid of such a threat at all. Before, Chen Xiang had heard from the oldest Gu that the reason why Hall 10 wasn't ranked number 1 was because Luo Tianjun had lost to him, and to him at that. Unless he can use my medicine to make a pot on the spot, then I will believe him. Liang Gaoi looked at Luo Tianjun, who was at the door, and smiled indifferently. Old Luo, 100 years have passed, said, do you think you can beat me now? Liang Gaoi took out a box, looked at Feng Yujie and Chen Xiang and said, I remember that the regeneration dan was created by a woman. Feng Yujie nodded his head. It is precisely this little girl who had refined it. I am willing to refine a furnace of pills on the spot to dispel Hall Master Liang's doubts. As long as Liang Gaoi's medicine was used, there would definitely be no problem. Those who had originally planned to return the goods decided to take a look at the result. Luo Tianjun said, Old Liang, you must be trying to scam a young man. If she can really refine it, then you must apologize, and regeneration dan will also belong to them. Liang Gaoi took out a pill furnace and said, not only do I need to use my ingredients, I also need to use my pill furnace. If she can actually refine it, I will be convinced. When Chen Xiang saw the pill furnace, he felt that something was amiss inside. He stood out and said, Can I use this furnace? Change it to something else. This won't do. If I use the pill furnace that you have prepared, I'm afraid that you will do something to the pill furnace inside. Liang Gaoi laughed. If you guys are worried that I would do something, I will get the other hall masters to prepare one for you all. Luo Tianjun took the pill furnace, looked at it, and then smashed it onto the ground, turning it into pieces. What can this broken pill furnace make? Old Liang, if you continue to cause trouble, I'll really get angry. Chen Xiang said, Why don't I refine it? I don't need a pill furnace. How could he refine without a pill furnace? Even Luo Tianjun felt that it was somewhat impossible. After all, refining Zhongping Dan was extremely difficult, and if it were any other low-leveled holy pellets, they wouldn't need to use their pill furnaces to play. Alright, since you said so, let's begin. Liang Gaoi laughed, and handed the jade box over to Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang took and opened it. Immediately, he scolded. Liang Gaoi UBASTARD. Hall Master, forget it. I can refine it. As Chen Xiang looked at those hay-like medicinal herbs, although he was a little dissatisfied, he did not have much of a reaction. How could a garbage of medicinal ingredients, without using a pill furnace, refine a regeneration dan? It was at this time that Luo Tianjun suddenly remembered that Chen Xiang was training in the heavenly alchemy, so with how confident he was right now, he definitely had a way to solve this problem. Feng Yujie retreated to the side. When she saw the herbs, she also frowned, because she felt that even if she used a good pill furnace, it would be impossible to refine it into a pill, let alone not using a pill furnace. The White Tiger had seen Chen Xiang concoct pills a few times, so it was already very familiar with this situation. It could only watch with a smile at the side, but the vermilion bird rarely saw Chen Xiang concoct pills in public. The vermilion bird's strongest aspect was its flame, so she could usually refine some pills and had a good understanding of pill refining. Chen Xiang only took out the few divine medicines that the regeneration dan had said he needed, then he returned the jade box to Liang Gaoi. What is it? Don't you need Shangping Holy Dan? Liang Gaoi was originally still smiling, but now he couldn't laugh anymore because of the serious look on Chen Xiang's face. He did not need Shangping Holy Dan to be able to refine a Zhongping Dan. If this was really the case, then it was possible to refine a large number of regeneration dan in a short period of time. For many years, many pill deity had tried various things to get rid of the need for other pills to aid in their attempts, but most of them failed. Of course, there were successful pill gods, but they could only be counted on one hand. Furthermore, they were all at the top of the divine nations. Xiao Chou also came. He hurriedly rushed in because he liked to see Chen Xiang concocting pills, especially that kind of amazing method. Those who were familiar with Chen Xiang had seen how he concocted pills without a cauldron before, but they still wanted to see. Chen Xiang opened up his own palm, and all the withered divine medicines were placed neatly on top of them. His hand suddenly turned silver white, like silver jade, and just as everyone was being surprised, his silver jade-like hand released a silver chuangzhao fire, wrapping the divine medicines on top of his palm. In the past, when Chen Xiang did not use his pill furnace to refine pills, he had released an invisible magic method furnace. But now, he was refining a divine pill directly on his palm. Especially for high-level alchemy gods like Luo Tianjun and Liang Gaoi, because they knew very well that refining Zhongping Dan was not child's play. Even if they were to refine it, they would have to be careful in order to succeed in order to guarantee its quality. Especially for high-level alchemy gods like Luo Tianjun and Liang Gaoi, because they knew very well that refining Zhongping Dan was not child's play. Even if they were to refine it, they would have to be careful in order to succeed in order to guarantee its quality. However, when Chen Xiang was refining, not only did he not need the Shangping Holy Dan's assistance, he did not even need the pill furnace. Chen Xiang's palm turned silver. Although the silver flame was burning strongly, it did not exude any heat. At this moment, everyone could clearly see that after being incinerated for a period of time, the very inferior divine medicine inside the silver flame became lively as if it was rotten weeds. Not only was it not burnt, it was burning even better, it was simply too strange. Concocting pills on the palm of his hand was already very shocking, but Chen Xiang was still able to revive such a dying divine medicine. Chen Xiang's flame was a chuangzhao fire, and it was based on the flames produced by the alive slain method. It could be destroyed, but it could also be created. Liang Gaoi frowned. He did not even blink as he watched. While he was shocked, he was also wondering what method Chen Xiang had used to be able to unleash such a miraculous technique. In a short while, those divine medicines that had originally been yellow like hay had now recovered to their highest quality. They were bright and colorful, and Chen Xiang's pure silver palm had begun to gradually dim. The silver flames it released weren't as intense anymore. That was the peak state of the Chuangzhou fire just now. Now he had started to burn the divine medicine, and it was also done on the palm of his hand. In the great hall, Chen Xiang held up his hands with his palms spread wide, releasing a weak reddish-green glow. This multicolored glow mischievously squeezed out from the silver flames and wandered outside the silver flames, like a mischievous spirit. Although Chen Xiang had refined it on top of his palm, there was an invisible barrier sealing his palm so that the flames and medicine aura would not leak out. The difficulty in refining Zhongping Dan was during the fusion process. If the inner parts of a few divine medicines were not uniform, then the weaker ones would be squeezed to the point of exploding, and after they were exploded, the other spirit blood would also explode. In the end, there would be a strong explosive force, so they needed the help of the Shangping Holy Dan to strengthen the weaker ones in order to achieve balance. Chen Xiang did not need Shangping Holy Dan. He could use the spirit strengthening technique to directly strengthen the spirit blood S that had the divine medicine. This way, not only would he not need the Shangping Holy Dan S, he could also quickly strengthen the spirit blood S and enhance the overall quality of the divine medicine. This would allow his speed to be faster, the higher the quality, and could even produce more pills. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. During this time, the hall was completely silent. Many people were staring at the divine medicine on Chen Xiang's palm. The light emitted by the divine medicine was getting stronger and stronger, shooting out of the silver flames and piercing people's eyes. When Chen Xiang saw that the spirit blood of the several divine medicines had all reached a similar level, he began to fuse all the spirit blood together. At the moment of fusion, the silver flame seemed to explode. A powerful multicolored light shot out in all directions, and many people had no choice but to block the light with their hands. Luo Tianjun and Liang Gaoi were already watching with their eyes wide open. They wanted to see what was so special about it because Chen Xiang's refining skills were simply too astonishing. Hi+ing. In the instant of fusion, the light aura that erupted lasted for a moment, then gradually weakened. However, the light aura on top of Chen Xiang's palm was still releasing a strong light aura. It looked as though he was holding a colorful treasure pearl in his hand. Originally, he had many divine medicines in his hands, but after being incinerated, they gradually shrunk into a small ball of mist. The silver flames were already starting to weaken, and had already reached the later stages. Although there were many outsiders here, they all watched with relish, and at this moment, the people who bought the regeneration Dan were secretly relieved. At least they were not affected by Liang Gaoi's words. Right now, everyone saw Chen Xiang as an existence similar to Liang Gaoi, and they even thought that Chen Xiang was much stronger than the alchemist S like Liang Gaoi. This was because not only could Chen Xiang refine pills on his palms, he could also use a mysterious method to revive the withered divine medicine. Luo Tianjun and Liang Gaoi, these two alchemists who were very familiar with the method, were both amazed because Chen Xiang's refining speed was just too fast. This was a Zhongping Dan. Moreover, it had only been 2 hours and he had already reached the later stages. That was why he was able to perform so well. He himself clearly knew that if he were to use his current state to refine pills, as long as he completed the pill refinement, he would be extremely tired. He would need to rest for at least an hour or two before being able to recover. He did so to make Liang Gaoi convinced from the bottom of his heart, and at the same time, build a reputation for the shop, because after the 9 Heaven World and the Super God Realm fuse, it was very likely that the Heroes Gathering Divine City would become the #1 city in the whole place. When the time came for the shop to sell, LV Chilian and the others would also join, and there would be even more types of holy pellets and divine pills, gathering a large number of Shen Yuan stone S, in order for them to be able to develop their powers. It was a critical juncture. Chen Xiang frowned, he snorted, and saw that the light yellow mist was suddenly split into 7 parts. Seeing that they were split into 7 parts, Luo Tianjun and Liang Gaoi, the 2 old God pills, trembled. The thought went out of their minds, and this intense shock almost made them lose their balance. With just the medicinal ingredients, Chen Xiang alone, he was actually able to refine 7 regeneration danas. Only a pill God like them could understand just how powerful he was. Although it was not impossible, it was still too difficult to reach such a level of cultivation. 3 Gu brothers was also shocked, their hearts were shocked, but at the same time received a huge blow. Everyone present let out gasps of surprise, because they knew that refining divine pills was not easy, producing 2 was already very rare, let alone 7. Everyone now understood why Chen Xiang had so many regeneration danas to sell, because Chen Xiang had refined regeneration danas faster than planting beans. The process of condensing the pellet was not easy at all. It took Chen Xiang an hour to complete it, and at this moment, 7 high-quality regeneration dan were floating above his palm, which he put into a jade case. It has been completed. The process of refining the regeneration dan has been witnessed by everyone. Our regeneration dan has no problems at all. Chen Xiang handed the 7 regeneration dan pills over to Liang Gaoi, but Liang Gaoi still hadn't reacted to it. Seeing Chen Xiang pass it over, he blankly stretched out his hands and took it. See 1999. See 1999. Liang Gaoi was already convinced in his heart. These 7 regeneration danas were way better than the ones in his shop, and he could only use 1 or 2 of the regeneration danas. So Chen Xiang's 7 were already much stronger than his. Your shop's regeneration dan is fine, I was just being paranoid, sorry, I'm here to apologize. Liang Gaoi sighed, his attitude was also very good. After Luo Tianjun saw this, he laughed. Old Liang, do you want to buy a pill as a souvenir? This pill furnace is not meant to be concocted using a furnace, and its speed is so fast too. Chen Xiang's expression was currently filled with fatigue. His mind was in a mess, and with a glance, he could tell that this was caused by the concocting of pills. As expected, Liang Gaoi bought a regeneration dan. After he left, the people who were watching the show all rushed to buy it, and Chen Xiang went back to rest. Chen Xiang sat in the hall. Shui Bingyan used her jade hands that were emitting cold air to sage him, and the traces of cool air entered his body, making him very comfortable. The white tiger said, "You seemed to be very low-key before, but now you're suddenly showing such a high profile. This isn't appropriate, is it?" Chen Xiang laughed. "I have long been targeted by the divine nations, and there is nothing to be afraid of. What I need to do now is to lay a good foundation, and earn more Shen Yuan stone, and I will definitely be of use in the future." The vermilion bird chuckled. "You're not afraid. Is it because we've appeared?" "Of course not, there are a lot of experts that I can rope in Supreme Divine Palace. If something really happens to me, my hall master will definitely help me." Chen Xiang was very sure of this, so he decided to find a chance to give Luo Tianjun a Dao Heart Stone. The last time he knew that Prince Divine Lions was going to capture him, Luo Tianjun was extremely furious, and immediately went to find Prince Divine Lions to capture him. Luo Tianjun and Old Iron K were pretty strong at that time. If divine nations really wanted to attack him, as long as they helped him secretly, Chen Xiang believed that he would be able to escape. Of course, if the divine nations sends out their strongest warriors, even if the palace lord himself were to take action, he wouldn't be able to resist. On a street in Heroes Gathering Divine City, Xiao was quickly walking with a cold face. He already knew about the matter of Chen Xiang's shop in the morning, and only now did he know that Chen Xiang's strongest point was actually pill refining and not those other methods. Last time he and Chen Xiang had worked together at the Divine Medicine Treasure Arena, he only thought that Chen Xiang's ability to use S.P.A.C. was rather strong, and he thought that Chen Xiang had collected the divine medicines to help Feng Yujie gather them. Just as Xiao was thinking about this, he suddenly felt someone quickly approaching him. A weak gust of wind struck the back of his head, and then, he felt a slight pain in the back of his head. Someone had actually hit his head right on the street. There was no need for extreme vigilance in a place like the Heroes Gathering Divine City. If one was ambushed here, one would definitely be unable to leave the Divine City, and those elders would have already held their meetings. Especially during the time that the Divine City was in operation, they would strictly manage the Divine City, and would definitely not allow any sneak attacks to happen. But now, Xiao was ambushed, and fiercely slapped on the back of his head. Xiao suddenly turned his body. He was angry and murderous, but when he saw the smile on his face, the anger in his heart was immediately dispelled. He was very handsome, his face was filled with a mischievous smile, and this man was Jiang Xing. He was Qi Hi's good friend, and also the blacksmith from Nine Heaven World. Old Xie, long time no see. You actually came to a place like this. It seems like you came here very early, and you even did quite well. Jiang Xing laughed. Old Jiang, you actually didn't die. Xiao touched the place he was previously hit on, and laughed out loud. There's no other way. The heavens like to let a lowly fellow like me live. Jiang Xing had also come to Super God realm, and he was in the middle of it. Xiao said, Let's go and find Chen Xiang, you should know this brat. He told me about you and Qi Hi before. Jiang Xing laughed. Of course I know, I recognized him even after he turned into ashes. He should be very powerful now. I never thought that a guy like you would actually know him. It seems like you have received his help before, right? The two of them walked to the shop happily, and the moment Jiang Xing entered, he saw Feng Yujie. When Feng Yujie saw him, she called out, Old Jiang, why are you here too? Jiang Xing laughed. Not bad, with such a big shop in this kind of place. No matter where Chen Xiang goes, he would always be able to get along well. It seems like you, the Nine Heavens Goddess, have already gotten along with him. Feng Yujie's beautiful face reddened, and she jokingly scolded. You're still the same, your mouth is always so cheap. The little demon is on the 5th floor, while the two seniors White Tiger and Vermilion Bird are there as well. After selling all 100 regeneration Dan today, Feng Yujie closed the shop's door, and walked up with Xiao and Jiang Xing. Chen Xiang and the White Tiger Vermilion Bird were chatting when they suddenly heard Jiang Xing's pitiful laughter. Big White Cat, you have a good day. I heard that you and the Flaming Bird have already left together. When are you going to give birth to one? When Jiang Xing saw the Vermilion Bird's jade face filled with killing intent, he immediately swallowed back the words that he was about to say. After a while, he laughed. Long time no see, you all look even more handsome and beautiful than before. The White Tiger laughed. Old Jiang, what wind brought you to this Super God realm? I heard that the Nine Heaven World has already swallowed the Gods realm, but it shouldn't be easy to come to this Super God realm. Jiang Xing sat on a large and very comfortable chair with his legs crossed. He looked at Chen Xiang and then looked at Shui Bingyan, who was giving him a ma's sage. Greetings, Senior Jiang too. Shui Bingyan shouted gently, and a smile appeared on his face. She thought that Jiang Xing's name was Jiang too. There's no need to be courteous. No matter where this brat goes, he will always be able to find such a great beauty. Jiang Xing laughed, then looked towards the White Tiger and said, Right now, there is no more Gods realm, the Nine Heaven World is the strongest, and we also have a large area of influence in the Nine Heaven World. Chen Xiang asked. Senior Jiang, right now you should already be AGOD, right? This kind of speed of growth is very unbelievable. Have you gone to the GODS realm yet? Jiang Xing laughed. Aren't you also a little GOD? The reason we can grow so fast is all because of the dragon vein on your dragon subduing school. The dragon vein has been seized back then, but the dragon subduing school is no longer there. The one in charge of the Nine Heaven School is your bunch of dog friends. I am honored to be able to become an elder there. As the Nine Heaven world grows at a rapid pace, the energy released by the dragon vein is also extremely shocking. We can even cultivate at a rapid pace. After knowing that Yun Xiaodao, Zhu Rong and the others were currently controlling that dragon vein, Chen Xiang was secretly happy. He really wanted to return right now. Chen Xiang had learnt the news about his former little friend from Jiang Xing. Although he was happy, he was also very worried, because at that time, if the 9 GODS nation was going to be in charge of the 9 Heaven world, he would definitely purge the strong forces in the 9 Heaven world. Chen Xiang had learnt the news about his former little friend from Jiang Xing. Although he was happy, he was also very worried, because at that time, if the 9 GODS nation was going to be in charge of the 9 Heaven world, he would definitely purge the strong forces in the 9 Heaven world. And Yun Xiaodao and the rest would definitely not surrender. When that happened, it would definitely be another BLOODY battle. Where are Qilian and the rest? Feng Yujie asked steadily. Do you have any news about them? I used to have a PAS sage to return to the GODS realm, but somehow it was blocked off. Those girls are fine now. They have taken over the other dragon vein, which is your divine tomb. Although they are secretly developing in there, they are very famous in 9 Heaven world. Jiang Xing said. The 9 Heaven world and the GODS realm originally had a PAS sageway that was connected to each other. That is, the Super GOD restricted area that can lead to the GODS realm. Back then, this group of girls were able to return to 9 Heaven world through the same path as Super GOD restricted area. The White Tiger said, looks like Super GOD realm's time is different from 9 Heaven worlds. It should have been a long time. Jiang Xing nodded his head and replied, in the heavens it happens every day for a year. There was such a saying in the past, so in the past few decades, 9 Heaven world was equivalent to a few hundred years, several thousand years, or even more. In short, in the past, there were slight differences in time between GODS realm and himself. Feng Yujie laughed bitterly. We will be unified in the future, and 9 Heaven world will soon swallow this Super GOD realm. The White Tiger asked, Old Jiang, how did you come here? It's not easy to get from 9 Heaven world. Jiang Xing drank a mouthful of iced tea and praised. It was indeed not easy, but because of the existence of our Super GOD realm, with everyone working together, we barely managed to open a gap. But I just came in and closed it. The vermilion bird was in disbelief. It's not easy to open an opening. Even if a few powerful supreme GODS were to join hands, it would be impossible, unless there is some sort of PAS sage. Jiang Xing laughed. Now that the Super GOD realm's SPAC is getting weaker and weaker, coupled with the Partic 1 Asian of the Azure Dragon and Black Turtle, these two people who have become very powerful, I could do it. I had originally planned to come together, but I'm lucky, so I'm the only one here. The Green Dragon was previously locked up in the Divine Prison, but the Divine Prison had already been breached. Senior Jiang, then what happened to the devil-killing Heavenly GOD and her? When the Divine Prison was broken through, their pressure should be the greatest. Chen Xiang asked. These two GODS had been very good to him back then. They can protect themselves now that the GODS realm no longer exists, and after being swallowed by the 9 Heaven world, They obtained an even more powerful energy source. With our help, they entered the dragon vein to cultivate, so they broke through their own bottleneck, and now they are all important elders of the Nine Heaven School. Ling Yun said. Jiang Xing said. The Nine Heaven School should be the strongest power in the Nine Heaven World now. Once the Nine Heaven World annexed the Super God realm, then the Nine Heaven School would be his main target. When Chen Xiang thought about this, he started to worry secretly. He then asked, "Who is the leader now?" Gu Dongchen. He said that he's your junior nephew. This guy is also very strong, and his management ability is very strong. Jiang Xing said. Chen Xiang laughed, which made him think back to the time when he was in Super Martial School. This Gu Dongchen was indeed good when he was in charge of Super Martial School, and he was originally a member of the mysterious ancient spirit race. Now he had become so powerful again. This fellow is not bad, but he is a bit stingy. Chen Xiang laughed. I really want to go back and see them. After not seeing them for so long, they have become so powerful. Back then, the White Tiger had also lived there for a period of time. There was also his White Tiger fighting race there, and he greatly missed his clan members. We will be able to see them very soon. Once the Nine Heaven World swallows this place, we will be able to see them. Jiang Xing chuckled. At that time, it will be our world. However, Chen Xiang could not laugh at all. Feng Yujie and the Vermilion Bird were also worried. What's going on? You guys don't seem to think this is a good thing? Jiang Xing asked with suspicion. It's a good thing, but bad things will happen along with it. Chen Xiang sighed. The Azure Dragon and Black Turtle probably didn't tell you anything about this place, right? Although the 3 shrines are the strongest among the Super God Realm S, at the moment, the 3 shrines are unable to match up to the 9 terrifying divine nations S. Feng Yujie said. 9 divine kings was originally suppressed by the 9 divine nations S to the point that he had no choice but to hide. 9 Heaven World also ruptured because of this. Now that the 9 Heaven World wants to annex this place, the 9 Gods nation will definitely make his move. After Jiang Xing heard this, he could not laugh anymore. He seemed to have heard of something related to the 9 Gods nation. If the 9 Heaven World annexed it, the 9 Gods nation would take action again, and at that time, it would definitely be a huge mess. They had been developing steadily for so many years, no one hoped that it would happen. It doesn't look as good as I thought. Jiang Xing sighed. He had already seen that there would be a fierce battle in the near future. Oh right, did you guys meet Chi? He should also be here. The archaic divine beasts that have awakened their memories should know about this place. This is their true homeland. Jiang Xing said. The reason why the Azure Dragon, Black Tortoise and Ice Dragon did not come here is because they wanted to hold back in 9 Heaven School. Chen Xiang told Jiang Xing about Chi's misfortune, and upon learning that Qi Yan the super old fire beast had died, Jiang Xing immediately became extremely furious. There's no rush. It shouldn't be long before that Prince Divine Lions will come knocking on our door. At that time, we will definitely make him pay with his blood. The White Tiger said coldly. The Prince Divine Lions was already quite strong, and he had a divine lion race backing him. His Lion King father was so strong that he could compete with the Hall Master. He understood divine lion race very well. Although he had been reborn, his current strength was not weak either. Just as Chen Xiang and the others were enjoying their conversation, Yi Bidong came. When Yi Bidong arrived at the hall on the 5th floor, he saw the White Tiger and Vermilion Bird, and suddenly thought of something. At that time, Yi Bidong had already recognized Huang Jintian, this old fart, and now it seemed that he also had an impression of the White Tiger and Vermilion Bird. An elder came to Star Moon Divine Race. He said that he wanted to find the kitten, and he found out that the cat is here. Yi Bidong said with a serious expression. The elder they sent is of high status in the Star Moon Divine Race. He is almost on the same level as the patriarch, which shows how much importance they have towards this cat. The Star Moon Divine Race's second leader had actually personally come to find Yue. This was clearly because of a very important matter, Chen Xiang, by who and the others immediately thought of the samsara sacrifice. The Star Moon Divine Race's second leader had actually personally come to find Yue. This was clearly because of a very important matter, Chen Xiang, by who and the others immediately thought of the samsara sacrifice. The samsara sacrifice was extremely important to the higher-ups of the Star Moon Divine Race. Now that the elder had personally come out to look for him, it meant that the time for the samsara sacrifice was coming. As long as the time for the samsara sacrifice was up, a surge of energy would descend upon Yue. If they couldn't find Yue, once they missed the time for the samsara sacrifice, it could cause a lot of trouble. In the past, Yue was very obedient, but ever since Yue met Chen Xiang, she would often run around randomly, and it was very difficult to find her. This time, Star Moon Divine Race came early to find Yue, to prevent her from missing out. Yue left by herself. She said she wants to go back by herself. Although she does not have much strength, her speed is very fast, so there shouldn't be any problems. Chen Xiang said. He couldn't tell anyone about the samsara sacrifice right now, otherwise, if the Star Moon Divine Race knew about this, they would inevitably do something crazy. Moreover, right now they were already enemies with the Divine Lion Race. Ibidong nodded. Then that's what I'll say to them. Are these three your friends? Why haven't I seen it before? Ibidong only felt that the white tiger looked very familiar to the vermilion bird. Of course, he had heard of the vermilion bird and the white tiger before. He had only seen vague images on some of the ancient books. Chen Xiang laughed. They are the seniors White Tiger and Vermilion Bird. They both belonged to the Beast Divine Palace back then. You should have heard of Elder Yi. This caused Yi Bidong to be greatly shocked, and he immediately bowed to the White Tiger and the Vermilion Bird respectfully. Back then, all Beast Divine Lord had sat down as the second protector, and that was an extremely famous existence. What about this person? Yi Bidong looked at Jiang Xing and asked. I am from the Nine Heaven World, and I am just a nameless N. Oh body. Don't you treat me as some senior. You are my senior, that's more like it. Jiang Xing chuckled. These words made Yi Bidong smile. Those who come are guests, furthermore you are Chen Xiang's friends, so you are mine. Elder Yi, you guys have discussed how you would deal with the assault of the Divine Lion Race. It just so happens that Senior White Tiger has his own debts to settle with Divine Lion Race. Feng Yujie said. Yi Bidong nodded his head. Then, I will bring the two seniors to see Hall Master. The White Tiger and Vermilion Bird followed Yi Bidong to meet Mu Chen. As far as they were concerned, with these two divine beasts here, they wouldn't have to worry too much when the Divine Lion Race attacks them. Yi Bidong was only curious about how much power the White Tiger and Vermilion Bird had recovered after their rebirth. This was because the White Tiger and Vermilion Bird back then were extremely terrifying existences. I will take a walk around this city myself, and then head over to that Beast Divine Palace to take a look. Cough cough, do you have Xinyuan stone? I just came to this place, and you know it. Jiang Xing laughed. Feng Yujie took out 5 million Xinyuan stone and gave it to him. Don't spend it randomly. If there's news of Chi Hi+, you must come back quickly and tell us. Seeing how straightforward Feng Yujie was, Jiang Xing laughed, as expected of the Nine Heavens G. Oh Des, you're so generous. They could easily earn that much. To sell 100 regeneration Dan today, that was 100 million Xinyuan stone, and tomorrow, they still had to continue selling. In the hall, there were only Chen Xiang, Feng Yujie and Shui Bingyan. Chen Xiang had not completely recovered, but Shui Bingyan was still Ma's saging him. What are you worried about? Feng Yujie could see through Chen Xiang's thoughts. I'm most worried about her right now. Chen Xiang said, I was worried that Star Moon Divine Race would find her and try again. Shui Bingyan was also worried and said, "How about we go find her? I have a way to find her, that way we can protect her." Although every day's preparations is for that compet. 1. Tian, Little Moon is more important. You and Bingyan can go find you air together, and I am not at ease with her. She doesn't have any strength at the moment, and Star Moon Divine Race will definitely know her like the palm of his hand. Feng Yujie said. After being together with Yuer for a while, she was also extremely fond of Yuer. Chen Xiang nodded his head. When I'm fully recovered, we will leave immediately. He took out more than 20 Dao Heart Stone S and gave them to Feng Yujie. These are the Dao Heart Stone S. When the time comes and I haven't come back yet, you should send some out based on the situation. Hall Master and Elder E must give it to them, and there are still the 3 senior brothers Gu. As for Hall Master and that Xiao Chang'e, you should have already made your decision long ago. Chen Xiang said. Dao Heart Stone S were extremely precious to cultivators who wanted to control the power of the great Dao. As long as they had one, they could make themselves stronger. At first, when Chen Xiang A.S. assured Yuer, he let her leave on her own because they didn't know that Samsara sacrifice would arrive so soon. Samsara sacrifice was a matter that concerned the advancement of the powers of the higher-ups in the Star Moon Divine Race, and other than that, they paid more attention to Yuer obtaining the power of Star Moon Descent as it was extremely possible for Yuer to awaken all her memories. Now that Chen Xiang knew that the Star Moon Divine Race's second leader had personally come to find Yuer, he started to worry secretly. All these years, their Samsara sacrifice had gone smoothly, so the Star Moon Divine Race must have some methods to find Yuer. Therefore, he must find Yuer quickly and bring her to hide. He wanted her to undergo a baptism. Even if she didn't awaken her memories, she would definitely become very strong. Feng Yujie lightly caressed Chen Xiang's face, encouraging him, "You must get Yuer back. She's one of us, you definitely can't let her endure that kind of pain again." "Definitely." Chen Xiang kissed her cherry lips and firmly laughed. Very quickly, Ibidong received news that the Star Moon Divine Race's elder had left in a very nervous manner after learning of Yuer's departure. Chen Xiang only recovered at night, so he also brought Shui Bingyan and left Heroes Gathering Divine City at night. "Bingyan, how do you know where Yuer is?" Chen Xiang asked. "Water. There is water vapor in the world, but you can't see it. Therefore, Yuer is always in contact with water, and she will also partake. 1p8 in some of the auras that fuse with the water. I only need to sense it and I will be able to tell." Yuer chuckled. "I can already sense it. Let's go this way." Using this method, Shui Bingyan was able to sense Yuer's trace, which also made Chen Xiang less worried. At the very least, they could quickly find Yuer. Chen Xiang brought Shui Bingyan and carried out a spatial legend without stopping for 3 days straight. Yuer ran really fast. She just left us not long ago, but I chased her for 3 days and still couldn't catch up. Chen Xiang could not help but exclaim at Yuer's speed. She was simply too fast, but this was also a good thing. At the very least, the elders of the Star Moon Divine Race S would not be able to catch up to her. Just when Chen Xiang thought so, Shui Bingyan said, "Not good, there are other beasts' auras in front, and they are very strong." He is now in his human form. After sensing it, Shui Bingyan opened up her palm. There, on top of her palm, was a little person formed from water vapor. This was the little person she saw just now. Could this fellow be the second in command of the Star Moon Divine Race? Chen Xiang frowned. "We have to hurry up and catch up. This guy is even faster than us, and he seems to be able to track Yuer." After learning that the elders from the Star Moon Divine Race had come to capture Yuer, Chen Xiang and Shui Bingyan became even more anxious, and advanced forward at full speed. After learning that the elders from the Star Moon Divine Race had come to capture Yuer, Chen Xiang and Shui Bingyan became even more anxious, and advanced forward at full speed. They probably used some secret methods to track Yu after finding out that Yu had left. Using this kind of secret technique might have had some effect on them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come to the heroes gathering Divine City to look for Yu previously, and would have been following her directly. Chen Xiang lies in his heart. He guessed that after the clan elder used a secret technique, there was a high chance that his power would drop. If this elder was really the Star Moon Divine Race's second leader, then his power must be very strong. Even Shui Bingyan would not be able to deal with him. At that time, not only would he not be able to save Yu, he might even be killed. Chen Xiang advanced at full speed. In merely half a day's time, Shui Bingyan had already sensed that Yu was nearby. Elder Brother Shen, you can stop now. That old man is already with Yu, Shui Bingyan said. Even though she was innocent, she knew that it was not good to be discovered by the other party. After Chen Xiang stopped, he used the S.P.A.C. domain S to envelop both him and Shui Bingyan, preventing them from being discovered by the other party. This place was filled with black boulders and strange stones that spanned 1,000 miles. Chen Xiang only found out that these black boulders were star fragments that had fallen from the sky after he had felt a trace of star power from these stones. Yu stopped here, Shui Bingyan said. Chen Xiang suddenly understood that the elder of the Star Moon Divine Race did not have the ability to track Yu. He had only guessed that Yu would come to this place because there were countless pieces of stars here that could very likely be related to Yu. He could also tell from the fragments of the stars that these boulders had existed for a very long time. There were still traces of star power inside them. It was obvious that the stars that had fallen here were not ordinary stars. Yu, now is not the time to be grumpy. Something big has happened within the clan. Furthermore, you have been out for so long and everyone has missed you. You must go back now. Chen Xiang heard the old voice. The voice sounded extremely benevolent. It did not seem to be scheming at all. I'm not going back right now. I want to stay here for a while longer. Elder, go back and tell them that I miss them very much. When my mood is better, I will naturally go back. Yu was also very clear. She didn't directly ask this elder about the samsara sacrifice, because she was very clear that if she asked now, there would definitely be no good ending, and she would definitely be caught. That was why she pretended that she didn't know anything and fought with this elder. Seeing that Yu was adamant on not returning, this elder did not suspect anything, but was a little angry, because the time for the samsara sacrifice was about to come. If he could not kill Yu at that time, the living Yu would obtain those powers. Yu, no matter what, you must return with me today. The elder's expression darkened as he solemnly said, if you don't obediently return with me, then I can only forcefully bring you back. Although it was daytime, and the sky was only a blue sky, Yu could see a spirit. She suddenly meowed and said, before, did I do this many times? Every time I come here, I don't want to go back. Hearing this, the elder's body trembled as he blankly stared at Yu, who was squatting on top of a black rock. Yu wagged her tail, continuing, this is my sudden feeling, this feeling is very familiar, it is as if I have experienced it many times. Chen Xiang was also very nervous at this moment. If Yu said something like that, this elder would definitely strike with killing intent. Come back with me. After the elder recovered from his shock, he gave a loud shout and waved his hand, forming a huge white net. Just as it was about to envelop Yu, the black stone that Yu was sitting on turned red and burst into a blinding red light. Chen Xiang, who was standing far away, was extremely shocked. Star Blood S. H.I. plus ELD. The elder shouted in alarm. The net he released was empty, and he didn't catch Yu. At this moment, she was squatting on another black stone. Yu lightly said, so this is the Star Blood S. H.I. plus ELD. It's a very familiar name. Chen Xiang, who was originally very nervous, was now secretly overjoyed. It could be seen that Yuer's memories were gradually recovering. This is happening again. It seemed that they had already experienced this before. Yuer would eventually awaken some memories before the arrival of the samsara sacrifice. Yuer suddenly asked in a mocking tone, "How many more days until samsara sacrifice comes? All these years, you have carried on so many times, yet you only have this little power. You all are useless. I really have died so many times for nothing." Hearing Yuer's words, the elder was surprised at first, but after thinking about it carefully, Yuer did not awaken her memories, so her knowledge of the samsara sacrifice should have been told to her by someone else. "Who told you these things? Since you already know about the samsara sacrifice, then I don't need to hide it anymore." The elder took out a disc that looked like an incredible treasure. "Only the few of us elders and clan leaders know about the samsara sacrifice. I am very curious, who exactly told you? Did you believe what all beasts divine lord told me?" Yuer laughed coldly. "Wu Tsang, you people have been here for so many years, don't tell me you don't feel the slightest bit guilty? No, because your sacrifice will allow us to obtain great power, and not long after, all of us will become divine lord." The elder called Wu Tsang said expressionlessly, "But we will thank you in our hearts. This is because without the samsara sacrifice, we will definitely not be able to break through and would only be eliminated. Using you, Xingyue, to obtain powerful strength is a tradition of the Star-Moon divine race for many years." Yuer said angrily, "The only one who benefits is you, right? It has nothing to do with the entire Star-Moon divine race." Wu Tsang scoffed, "Who said there isn't? If not for our power, how would Star-Moon divine race be on equal footing with the other three great God clans?" Yuer's eyes suddenly turned red as she shouted, "If you don't kill me that many times with my current strength, let alone being on equal footing with the other three God race, we won't have a problem forcing them to surrender. It is precisely because you are strong that we want to kill you even more. Your rise will only threaten our position." Wu Tsang said cruelly as he threw out the disc in his hand. The moment the disc flew out, it shone with a white light, S.H.I, plus Ning on Yuer's body. Yuer originally wanted to use the star blood S.H.I plus ELD, but who would have thought that after the white light shot over, it had turned into a small white cage. The moment the disc flew out, it shone with a white light S.H.I plus Ning on Yuer's body. Yuer originally wanted to use the star blood S.H.I plus ELD, but who would have thought that after the white light shot over, it had turned into a small white cage. This cage was created by Divine Lord Xingyue and the few elders years ago, and was specially designed to deal with you. We have used it many times over the years, and every time, you were unable to escape. Don't worry, when we kill you will not feel any pain." Wu Tsang walked over and picked up the cage as he laughed. It was obvious that during all these years, Yuer had not been obedient until now, which was why she refined such a magical equipment specifically to deal with her. Yuer, who was trapped in the cage, struggled and screamed, but couldn't come out. Yuer could use the power of the SPAC laws, but she couldn't use them in her cage right now. The samsara sacrifice is about to start. There are still 10 days. Wu Tsang lifted up the cage and laughed at Yuer. "Little darling, behave yourself, and take the chance to enjoy it properly. After a while, you will forget about all these." As long as they completed samsara sacrifice, and waited for Yuer to be reborn, they would take away this memory and let Yuer continue to live as she had in the past. Yuer wouldn't know either, and the clan members inside Star Moon Divine Race wouldn't notice. This meant that Yuer's memories would be searched once, and everything regarding her and Chen Xiang would be exposed by then. This was something Yuer didn't want to see happen, and what made her heart ache was that she didn't want to lose the memory she had with Shui Bingyan, Chen Xiang, and the others. This memory was extremely precious to her. "Bingyan, do it." Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Shui Bingyan, and she was ready for it. Upon hearing the sound transmission from Chen Xiang, she immediately used her strongest power, and her entire body erupted with blue light. Wu Tsang and Yuer both suddenly sensed an extremely terrifying icy cold power. After Yuer sensed this familiar aura, she was ecstatic in her heart, but she was also a little worried, because she knew Wu Tsang's strength. She was worried that Shui Bingyan wouldn't be able to handle it. Shui Bingyan and Wu Tsang were separated by a long distance, but Shui Bingyan was able to use a very mysterious method to seal Wu Tsang's wife with ice just a short distance away from him. Chen Xiang took advantage of this moment to retrieve the cages that held Yuer. Then, he quickly teleported away with Shui Bingyan. Just as Chen Xiang had teleported away, a very strong explosion occurred at the place he was originally at, and in an instant, it turned into a huge crater. Shui Bingyan's ice seal could only freeze Wu Tsang for an extremely short period of time, but it was enough for Chen Xiang to save Yuer. "I can beat him," Shui Bingyan said in a low voice. "We can't fight him even if we can. Our goal is to save Yuer." Chen Xiang brought her and teleported. Although Shui Bingyan said that, but after the fight breaks out between Shui Bingyan and Yu Yang, maybe the elders from the Star-Moon Divine race will come to support them. At that time, Shui Bingyan will not be able to fight everywhere. Chen Xiang was very confident in his escaping abilities, adding that he had concealed his own presence, that Wu Tsang was definitely unable to discover him. When he was near Shui Bingyan, Wu Tsang did not notice anything, but what infuriated Wu Tsang the most was that he did not know who saved Yuer, nor did he leave any trace of his presence behind. 3 days had passed, and Chen Xiang did his best to teleport for 3 days. He had already returned to the Supreme Divine Palace, but he did not go there because he felt that it was not safe enough. In the EUNT of the 10th Dan Hall, Chen Xiang took Yuer out from the cage. "This is great, I have this thing that is specifically meant to catch you in my hand. Let's see how they will catch you in the future." Chen Xiang smiled, looked at the round plate in his hand, and then put it away. Yuer threw herself into Shui Bingyan's embrace, and Shui Bingyan held her tightly. "Chen Xiang, thank you." Little Moon looked at her gratefully. "There's no need to be polite. We're friends." "Alright, why did you go there? That old man clearly knew where you would go." Chen Xiang said. "I don't know either. I just felt that I was suddenly going there, which was why I went there." "Who knew that he would suddenly come?" Yuer said. "When I went to that place, a very familiar feeling suddenly emerged in my mind. The star blood SHI plus ELD that I used previously was also a memory that came from that time." Shui Bingyan asked. "Then if you want to recover your memories, are you going to that place as well?" That place had definitely been sent by Wu Tsang and the others to search for it, so they definitely could not return there. Yuer shook her head. "I don't know either. Right now, I feel that even if I don't search through those memories, it doesn't matter. It's enough to have the memories of the two of you together." Yuer only felt that the memories she had with Chen Xiang and the others were real. Previously, the memories she had were all injected into others and had been modified. When Chen Xiang returned, he had covered the cage with something, and it was at night, so no one had discovered him. Now, he definitely could not let Yuer show herself casually. If not, the Star-Moon Divine race would definitely do everything he could to catch her. Feng Yujie immediately returned to the 10th hall when he found out that Chen Xiang had returned. Yuer. When Feng Yujie saw Yuer flying over, he hurriedly wrapped her up. Then, he lovingly stroked her fur. "I won't make you worry anymore." Yuer and Feng Yujie's relations, HI plus P, was also very good, just like Shui Bingyan, as if they were relatives. Chen Xiang laughed. "Fortunately, I can still make it to the compet. One Tian." Feng Yujie said. "Because multiple powers are fighting at the same time, there's a delay in time. The compet 1 Tian starts in a month, and there's still plenty of time." "Chen Xiang, can you help me go to that place to find something? I feel that there is something extremely important there, so every time Samsara sacrifice is about to arrive, that thing would always call for me to go to that place. Wu Tsang and the others probably don't know about this. Yue felt that restoring her memories wasn't important anymore, but she desperately needed more powerful energy. She needed people she could protect right now, so Feng Yujie and Shui Bingyan might be implicated because they were together. Alright. Yue was also aware that it was very safe for Chen Xiang to travel alone. In order to help Yue, Chen Xiang would definitely not delay it, and he hoped that Yue would be able to wield a powerful strength.